Agreed. Greetings and salutations.
The universe is just doomed. 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 Doomed.
Hello.
Hi, welcome back.
It's us, Nicole.
And Tessa.
And
Kim.
I'm here.
Oh, you can hear Kim.
There she is.
Hi, all of you whiny listeners.
As promised, we are finally in the present
We are
during
in the
our Back
present
to
now.
the Future episode, and we have gotten Kim on mic. So,
Oh, and we don't know, we still don't know yet about that Oscar thing because I was way off.
about
Remember
because
how I
she
said
mentioned, that we would know
by now, but
if
no,
Demi
we
won the
still
Oscar.
won't know.
No,
We still won't know by
when
now.
this is like 2 more episodes after.
I know. I think it's one more episode after
Okay.
before we will, but we still won't because we record them
Yeah.
ahead of time. So yeah, I was totally off. I was way off.
Oops,
Oopsie poopsie.
our bad.
Well, whatever.
So yeah, 40 years of Back to the Future.
40 years.
So many years.
Gotta go back in time. Back in time.
And now I definitely didn't see this in the theater because I was
No.
5.
No, I didn't. But I've seen it about 100 times since.
Probably.
I've seen it about 100 times since.
And we will discuss a bit of the trilogy.
We will. I watched all 3. I did the.
And I tried to. I watched the second one, and then when the third one wouldn't keep streaming for me. So
That's a bummer.
I think I remember enough.
I found it in the very bottom cubby in my garage. I was like, I know I have this
Yeah, we have the
on
exact
DVD.
same
I have the little
edition.
box set with all of the things and all of the special features. And it was in the very bottom box.
And we should also mention that this is the beginning of Machines March.
Yes, machine or mechanized march,
Yeah.
or however you want to do it.
We're
But
doing all, mechanical
mechanical
related.
things.
And
So
in this one, it's a time machine.
it's it's a DeLorean.
So let's get into the cast as if you don't know.
I know. Have you heard that Michael J. Fox did this movie? It was Eric Stoltz, and then it was Michael J. Fox.
And if you haven't heard that, where have you been?
I know.
The
They
whole
did like the
internet
whole
knows.
movie.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
They filmed
yeah.
almost the whole movie with Eric Stoltz.
But he was just too in love
Yeah.
with Lea Thompson and being an asshole and
Well, yeah,
whatever.
or something. Well, even he agreed, I guess, that he was also just not right.
he took it too serious
He
or
did.
something.
He's too serious. He's a serious actor. We have to get Michael J. Fox in there to make it fun.
Lea Thompson as Lorraine.
Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown.
Crispin Glover as George McFly.
Thomas F. Wilson as Biff Tannen.
Claudia Wells as Jennifer Parker.
I don't know why I didn't write anybody else down. I know Billy Zane's in there.
Wendy Jo Sperber,
Oh, yes.
who's the sister who I knew from Bosom Buddies.
Yes.
I want to say I maybe
Yeah.
saw Bosom Buddies before I saw Back to the Future and was like, holy shit, that's the girl from
Because that was on TV.
Yeah.
That was a series on
watched a
TV.
lot
I
of
watched
that.
a lot of Bosom Buddies.
And Mark McClure as Dave McFly. And then I just wrote Billy Zane up in there.
Yeah, Billy Zane up in there. Billy Zane up in all 3. I
Yeah,
feel like.
or well, he's at
in the
least
first
in the
2.
first 2. I'm not.
I don't.
He
I'm
might
not
be in the third, but I
if
didn't.
he's in the third or not. But
I didn't watch it, so
I feel like he might be. He just wrote it all the way through as one of Biff's
we didn't notice him with the mustache. Maybe
little Biff buddy.
maybe
Little Biff buddy.
little Biff buddy. So we start with so many clocks.
That's exactly what I wrote verbatim. So many clocks at 7:58 a.m. And we've got that little foreshadowing of the little guy hanging off of
hanging off the clock
the
tower.
clock.
Or
And
whatever.
I feature that poodle clock. I want that.
I know we have the Felix
I
clock
do.
thanks to Kim.
The little Kit Kat clocks. We got that. There's no what was the other? An owl.
yeah,
There
there
was an owl
so many
and a
different
poodle.
ones.
It's like Pinocchio. When you go into Geppetto's little jam with all of the clocks. I like the clocks.
And the breakfast Rube Goldberg's going, but there's nothing is
No, it's
like the coffee
disgusting.
pot is not there. The toast is burnt.
This one's gross.
Einstein's bowl is just overflowing. with
I know
food.
that no one seems to be here. You see the little newspaper thing about the Brown Mansion being destroyed and news about the missing plutonium and the Libyans. And that breakfast machine is not good. That dog food's gross too. And now here come Marty.
And now he hasn't been here for days apparently.
Yeah,
So he doesn't come here every day.
No.
But he just at 7:30 in the morning can come
Before
to Doc's
school.
house and play the loudest
The
guitar of all
gigantic-
time. And why does Doc have a giant speaker like that?
I don't know, because he's a scientist.
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
I mean, I
I
don't
don't know
know.
no
He's-
scientist with a speaker. I don't know no scientist.
You don't know any scientists, girl. I don't know why you act like you
I don't
know
know who
anybody.
I am talking about.
I am not a scientist. Kim is not a scientist. Liana is not a scientist, and that's it.
And none of y'all have giant speakers. either.
No. I mean, we got big speakers, but not like that.
And we don't know, and we'll never know how Marty knows Doc Brown.
No.
He's not a friend of his parents.
No.
He doesn't work at his school.
No.
We have absolutely no
He
idea.
probably he was probably like the wackadoodle, the weird scientist that lives in the haunted house. He's always up there doing stuff.
Maybe
and Marty
he
probably
he put a
snuck
rocket
up
on
there.
Marty's skateboard one day. He was like, hell yeah.
Is it like a Mr. Miyagi situation?
Right. Like he
Right.
just kind of like he broke something at his house and he like worked it off and then they became
Maybe.
friends or something.
So he shows up like, whoa, what's going on? Like everything's overflowing. But just ignores it.
Right. There's nobody there. He like throws his little skateboard down and hits a plutonium
Box
bucket
under the
or
bed.
whatever.
Yeah.
So now it's massive amp time.
Oh
He's got to go plug in that guitar.
And as big as that thing is to turn everything up to 11,
right. For
even
what
if there
purpose?
wasn't a short,
No,
what did you think was
what
going to happen?
Right.
There's
It's bigger
no way.
than he is. He could fit inside of this gigantic amp speaker.
And then I was like, what is that weird little guitar? And I asked my husband, the guitar expert, what is that weird little guitar? And he goes, that's a weird little guitar.
Thank you.
So I don't know if you
It
know,
is.
let
It is
us
a
know.
weird little guitar.
And the single strum blows him across the room.
Of course.
Breaks the shit. Nice, Marty. Super nice.
Sure. And right then is when the phone rings. Is this
It's like an alarm bell, but it's the phone.
right? Yeah. So he
Yeah.
finds the phone. It's Doc, and he's like,
Meet me in a parking lot at 1:15 in the morning, high school child.
"Yes,
Sneak
High
out of your
school
house
student.
and
Yeah, I
help me evade the
Completely
Libyans.
appropriate. For
yes." The Libyans are looking for. I got a little plutonium for us to play with.
Right?
We're gonna do a little time travel. Maybe it's a surprise though. So come at 1:15 in the JCPenney parking lot at the Twin Pines Mall.
And all the clocks go off and he thinks it's time for school. And he's like, oh, no, great. All my clocks are perfectly 25 minutes too slow.
He's
and
like, I'm late for
"What?"
school.
He's only been there 10 minutes. He was already
know.
going to be late for school.
Bam, bam, Power of love. Fucking Huey Lewis, 2-time Doom Generation appearance.
Yep. First American Psycho and now this. So Marty hitches a ride on his skateboard,
Skitches.
hanging onto a Jeep.
Skitches a ride.
Sketches a ride. Past re-elect Mayor Goldie Wilson posters.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer meets him out front
Yep, Strickland's looking for him
to keep him getting caught being tardy for the 4th time.
in a row.
And he gets caught anyway.
Right. So, and why was he late the rest of the times? It wasn't because he was going over to Doc's.
I don't know. Because he ain't been
He's
there
just-
lately.
He doesn't sleep well. You could tell because he's always all bunged up.
And what's his name? Strickland.
Yeah, you slacker.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you some free advice. Stay away from that dangerous nutcase, Doc Brown.
I know. Like, what, did they go to like school together? Well, no. Why would
He was
know?
around. He was like a rich scientist
Yeah.
back when Strickland was still the fucking principal or
Right?
a teacher or whatever back
Yeah,
in the 50s.
he was, and he never had hair. Well, he
No.
did in the third one.
Oh, that's
He didn't. He had a lot of hair in the third one. It was.
he's like, look, you're not
flowing."
making me bald for a
Right.
third movie.
That answers the question that Marty does ask in the second one. Did he ever have any hair? And the
now you
answer
know.
is
In the 1800s.
Yes.
As his own ancestor.
1885.
Yes, he did.
He was the sheriff in these parts, and he had hair.
And you find out about there's an audition for Battle of the Bands later.
Oh yeah, but you better. I don't even know why you're gonna try. Because you're a slacker. And
So
you're in the history of Hill Valley. No McFly has ever made anything out of themselves.
So Huey Lewis is there judging talent at the Battle of the Bands audition.
Oh, by the way, that little weird guitar is called a Chiquita.
A
Chiquita!
So yeah, their band is the
The
Pinheads.
Pinheads, and they're playing the power of
Yes,
love.
they are.
And Huey Lewis is not impressed.
You're just too darn loud.
Yes, I bet you he thinks they're too black sounding for him.
And here come Jennifer dressed like the English teacher. What did they do
Right?
to the hair?
I
And then they
know.
made Elizabeth Shue wear a wig to look like
looked
that
just
Nana
like
hair.
that. Yes.
What did they do to this poor
I
girl?
don't know. She gets one outfit.
That's it.
It's two gals, one outfit.
2 movies, yep. 2 different girls, 1 outfit.
Right? Poor gal.
But
Poor gal.
Jennifer still believes in him. She wants them to send their demo to the record company. And
Yeah.
he's like, I can't handle rejection.
She's super supportive of his rock and roll dreams that
Yes,
he doesn't
she
even
is.
intend to pursue because he will not accept rejection.
I know. You're not
Or
going to
turn
get
down
far
a
like
fight.
that. And
what are
he-
you, chicken? That's what you should have said. What are you, fucking chicken? You would have decked her.
And they pass by that 4x4 that says it's like a prize for a contest.
Oh, yeah. Someday, Jennifer, someday.
And Jennifer's like, does your mom know about tomorrow night? He's like, "Pff, she thinks I'm going camping with the guys.
Yeah.
She'll freak out. She's very respectable or whatever. Or no, she says she's just trying to keep you respectable.
Right. And he's like, yeah, but she's like kind of a prude.
Yeah. He's like, well, she's not doing a very good job.
Ooh, yeah. But then her dad rolls up like, beep, beep. Hey.
Well, first they get interrupted by the Save the Tower
Oh,
Clock
right.
Fund.
Yes. And why does this woman look like Scott Thompson?
This is a special Kids in
Save
the Hall
the
sketch
clock tower.
in the middle of Back to the Future.
I thought I was looking at her and I was like, what?
It
First
does.
of all, what is her problem? And second of all, why does she look like
Don't you
Scott
clang your change can in my face
I
while I'm making out with
know.
my boyfriend?
Do
Get
you
out of
see
here.
what's happening over here? Mind your business. I don't give a fuck about the clock tower. They're the Preservation Society. They like to preserve it.
Right?
Goldie wants to like replace that, like have a clock that works
Yes.
in town, but we can't have that.
And in the background, you see that the movie theater only plays XXX movies.
American Orgy.
And there's
Or-
an adult toy store back there, too.
like everything in like the school's all tagged up. The Lion Estates things is all tagged up. The movie theater only shows porn. Like Hill Valley
Like it was, right?
is kind of a skanky town.
It sure was. It sure was. So he rides home to the Lion Estates as the sun goes down.
Right.
And there's a tow truck in the driveway bringing home the car he was supposed to borrow.
Oh, it's fucking wrecked because Biff borrowed it.
Oh, and Biff.
Oh, this motherfucker. What a dick.
This guy is such a nice seeming guy in real life,
I
this
know.
actor.
Yeah, apparently he's
so good at being a fucking asshole. And I know he has like a whole song. He put out a
Right.
song that's
Oh,
like
did
him
he?
responding to the things people ask him when they meet him because all anybody
Oh, of
knows him
course.
as is Biff.
From what I heard, he had a card. Like
Oh,
when
yeah?
people would come up to him and it was a card about like, yes, we every once in a while we keep in touch.
It's
No,
probably
we don't
all of
like
that he turned into a
it's the
song,
answer
yeah.
to every single question that he gets asked, and he just pass out the card like bop bop bop.
Because he was
before you
on
even ask.
Mr. Show, right? And he
think
does
so.
stand up and stuff.
Yeah.
Because he's not nearly as old. Like you think of him, you're so confused about how old he is.
I
Because he's
know.
young Biff and he's old Biff and he's
Right.
Griff and he's
And what's it?
Grandpa Biff. You're like, fuck, how old is this man?
Lea Thompson's only 23.
In this? Okay.
And they to make her 47, they had to put like the makeup and stuff on her.
And
but
I'm
she's-
sorry, these 47-year-olds in this movie.
I
and
am
in-
offended as a
and
47-year-old.
yes,
right?
Oh, no, wait, I'm 48. Never
And in
mind.
Back to the Future
I'm not offended
2.
anymore.
Back to the Future 2, same thing. Marty looks
I
old as
know.
hell.
That's whatever.
Dumb.
Whatever.
So yeah, Biff borrowed the car and he's reaming out George about, oh, you didn't tell me about the blind spot. It made me spill my beer when I got run into.
I know.
What the
Excuse
fuck?
me? And he was like, well, your insurance should pay for it. He's like, no, your insurance.
Hello, McFly. Knock, 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 knock.
I hate
And
him.
also, where's my reports?
Right.
He's also making this dude do his homework still.
I
fucking
know.
20 years
I
later
know.
after high school.
Never stood up to him. Never, not once.
Nope. And then, so there's a cut scene right here that they don't show. Did you watch the outtakes?
no.
Okay. So in the next scene after this, they're sitting down at dinner and the dad hands him this huge bowl of peanut brittle, which is so weird out of context. I never had noticed it before. But when you watch the outtakes, there was a scene right after
Oh, I
Biff
did,
left where
yes.
Marty's like, what the hell? Like, how come you can't say no? You need to learn to stand up for yourself. And he's like, oh, I'll try.
Right.
And a little girl and her dad come to the door selling peanut brittle. And the
Yes.
dad's like, you'll take
Yeah.
a case, right?
Yeah, he was like, I'll put you down for a case. And he's like, well, no, whatever. Like,
Okay.
Fine. Yes, I did
fine.
see that
And
one.
so that's why in the next scene he's pouring him a bowl,
big old bowl
of peanut brittle. Yeah.
Yes, I did see that part. I did
But
see
that
part.
scene was not. If it weren't for the fact that
No.
he was in the next scene pouring peanut brittle,
then
it would have been totally
there's
unnecessary.
No point to have it, yeah.
But that makes that make a little more sense,
I kind of like it when there's weird things out of context that it doesn't, like if you notice it, you're like, why?
right? I had never even. I don't think in all the times I watched this, I
No.
ever noticed what he was pouring. I just thought it was like granola or
No, I
cereal or
just-
something.
It's a lot of peanut brittle. I'm going to try to eat that peanut brittle and milk. I'm going to eat it like cereal.
Would it make it more? Would it make it harder, the coldness of the milk, or would it soften?
I
it?
don't think it'll make it one way or the other except for the chocolate.
No. Well,
Or
peanut brittle don't have chocolate.
I have peanut brittle with
Oh,
chocolate. on it.
chocolate covered peanut brittle.
It's really good.
Oh, you fancy.
It was fancy, girl. I paid money for it and everything.
Oh,
For like home, I paid money for it. I did not steal it.
doll hairs, real life doll
I paid
hairs.
real life monies for it. I didn't just jack somebody for their chocolate covered peanut
child.
brittle. Right?
And the mom brings in Uncle Joey's parole cake, which they're gonna have to eat themselves because
Because he did not get parole.
And no, I'm sorry, she's supposed to be fat here.
Yes, she's fat.
Did not even clock that she was supposed to be fat until
Mentioned
later
it
when she's
several
skinny,
times.
and they were like,
Oh,
"Oh,
you're
mom,
so-
And
you're
I was
so
like,
thin.
She's like 140 pounds max right there.
I know.
Like,
I
she's
was like,
not that
excuse
fat.
me.
Down to
Relax.
108.
Oh, there you
She
go.
gets there. She gets there. So yeah, the older siblings who were supposed to be like 18 and 20,
Right.
look like they're 40 something.
Seriously, that older brother of his looks about 47.
He's got the hairline of a 47-year-old. He could be
Right.
the dad. And Wendy Jo Sperber looks
And
like a
who is
30-year-old
that
business
guy?
lady.
Is that the guy?
Oh, his name
He
was
looks
something-
like the kid from fucking Freaky Friday.
Oh, the one with the
Boris.
the
Is
one
that Boris?
had a plugged up nose all the
who
time.
has adenoids.
Oh man, is
Is
it
that-
Boris? It was something.
Mark
John
McClure.
Mark McClure.
Was he in Freaky
And
Friday?
Freaky Friday.
Oh, come on. I accidentally
he?
closed his IMDb, so
Of
now I've
course,
got to
of
reopen
course,
it.
Of course. So, anyhow, Marty's all crashed out after.
Well, first mom
He was
telling
Jimmy
him-
Olsen in Superman.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Apollo
I watched the old
13.
Supermans. Maybe that's why I know
Oh,
him.
maybe.
What was the movie you were asking?
Freaky
Freaky
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah,
He was.
Boris.
That is him.
Boris
Oh
from
my
Freaky Friday.
God.
Yeah.
Hey.
And so his mom doesn't like Jennifer because she's chasing. Because she called him.
Right.
Girls
She's
chasing boys.
fast ass.
I never chased a boy. Or sat in
Excuse
a
me?
parked car with a boy.
Excuse me, ma'am.
We're about to have some
We're-
conversations
right?
with you.
That would have
Mrs.
been very
McFly.
difficult to come back to that. Well, then but by the time he comes back, when he fixes everything, like she's
She probably
cool.
didn't after that, but
She's cool after that, but right now she's being like, I never did any of that.
and she's talking about how she met their dad when her dad hit him with his car.
Yes,
And if that hadn't happened, you'd never have been born.
right, and then we went to the Under the Sea dance or Enchantment Under the Sea dance. And that's where he kissed me.
And she's trying to romanticize everything, and George is too busy watching like fucking Honeymooners or something, and her eyes are just full of regret. Like
I
she's like,
know.
"Oh,
This is my life.
this is it now, I guess."
Yep.
So it's 12:28 a.m. Marty is fast asleep in his clothes when the phone rings.
Yeah, Doc calls. He's all, pick up my video camera and come on down.
So he gets down to the parking lot and he sees Doc's truck and Einstein sitting out in the lot. Mm-hmm. And the back of the truck opens into a ramp, and here backs
It's all
out
like
this DeLorean.
steamy and like,
Out of time is
Right?
the license plate.
he's like, is that a Devo suit?
Right? So Doc gets out and welcomes Marty to his latest experiment, his biggest experiment.
Right. Saturday morning, October 26, 1985, 1:18 a.m. Temporal experiment number 1.
And he's strapping his dog.
Right. He's putting Einstein into the
putting
car.
Einstein-
And
what
he's
if
like,
it
hey,
didn't
Doc,
work?
what are you doing?
What if he exploded his
Like
dog?
come home.
Oh,
What
God,
the hell? Doc, this is not cool. Like, no lab rat even first?
I know. Not, you're going to just straight up put your dog in there?
And like, what I don't understand is, so after this part, how much plutonium per trip? Because like,
Right?
are you telling me he didn't need to reload the plutonium? Einstein didn't get out and reload the plutonium when he got to where he was going.
Well, yeah, that's
But I guess he
true.
only sent him a minute ahead, so he didn't
Well,
go
I think
anywhere.
it's one, he says one tube, one trip. And I think he means like
So
round trip,
he didn't stop anywhere else. He
Right,
just
right,
sent
right.
him 1 minute into the
Yeah.
future. So it was just the one
What
the
happens
one
with
batch.
Well, no. Well, no. Because once he gets there, he doesn't have any
No.
plutonium and he can't get back.
Yeah, and that's why he has to have the lightning.
Well, I guess maybe because it was a quick
But
trip.
again, because he was just right there in the same parking lot, it's a different
Maybe.
story. He didn't send him
Maybe
to
just
another
into
time
the-
where he couldn't get to the DeLorean.
Right,
So-
and he didn't ever turn off the car. He just
No.
kind of did a little thing around the parking lot. Maybe
but I'm
that's it.
sorry, RC
Again-
carring this thing 88 miles per hour through this parking lot and
I know.
first doing some show off turns
I know.
for no reason whatsoever.
For no reason, please. He
I've
was
put
doing-
a dog that size in a car, and I don't care if you put a seatbelt on him or not.
No.
That dog was sliding around that car.
slamming up against the gold door.
Oh my God.
Poor
so, yeah.
baby.
So if his calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit. And so they stand right in the car's path. And again, I get it. You're a great scientist.
He winds the car up and like aims it right at them. And he's like, keep
just stay right here.
I'm going to shoot this car right in our direction.
And suddenly it goes 88, lightning, flames, it's gone. You disintegrated Einstein.
Yes, you dick.
Nuh-uh, he's the world's first time traveler. 1 minute in the future.
Yeah, and he's going to come right back. It'll be fine.
And he's like, you built a time machine out of a DeLorean? Yeah, why not do it with some style?
Yes, if you're going to do it.
And how did Doc afford? Well, I guess he had all that money, but he had already pissed away most of the family fortune.
Insurance fraud.
Probably.
I got 2 words for you, bitch. Insurance fraud.
And here comes Einstein peeling out.
Oh, like frosty, smoky, whatever. And they're like, uh-oh.
And he shows him.
I hope he's not like
he's fine.
Bits in there.
They let him out. He shows them the time circuits and how everything works.
It's 1 minute behind or ahead?
The clock that he put on Einstein's 1 minute behind because they had experienced that full minute, but he did not. He went directly to it.
Okay, all right.
And he tells him about the day he invented time travel by slipping while hanging a clock and hitting his head on the toilet. Dreaming up the flux capacitor.
Right, November 5th, 1955.
And this is where he says it took his 30 years and his entire family fortune to realize that vision. So he spent most of the rest of it on that DeLorean.
I guess so, yeah.
He didn't pay for the plutonium.
I guess so.
And so, it doesn't run on gas. It runs on plutonium. And he's like, this sucker is nuclear?
Yeah. He's like, well, I needed it to be that so that I could get the
1.21 gigawatts. And he's like, oh yeah, basically I tricked some Libyan terrorists and gave them a useless bomb.
He's like, what, they wanted me to build them a bomb, so I just gave them a bomb casing with some pinball parts in there, and that'll be fine.
And what are the chances they discovered it right at the moment? And like, how'd they know he's in the mall parking lot? Why did the Libyans come looking for him in the mall parking lot?
Because it says Doc Brown on the side of his fucking
would they just happen to be in the neighborhood in their VW van? Libyan terrorists drive a VW van.
Sure. You know what I thought for the longest time? That there was some sort of terrorist in every single VW van I had ever seen.
My mom had one. She wasn't a terrorist.
Well, that's what you think. She's been a terrorist on the memories that you.
That's true. She terrorizes my memories. She does. So they haven't seen the terrorists yet. Doc's loading up his luggage. He's going 25 years into the future. And Marty's like, look me up when you get there. So Doc announces his trip. Marty's filming it. Oh, almost forgot to bring extra plutonium.
Oh yeah, because it's 1 tube, 1 trip. So
suddenly Einstein's barking, and here comes the VW van. Run
the
for
Libyans!
it, Marty! The Libyans!
Right, so they roll up and they're like,
and they start shooting, knowing this man somewhere has their plutonium.
Yes.
Why are you firing machine guns at him? What the fuck? And he brought this like old World War II pistol or something that's empty that he's trying to shoot back at them with. Click, click, click.
And it said on because I have my subtitles on. Mm-hmm. When they're all hollering, it just said swearing in Arabic.
You don't even
I don't know if they were actually swearing in Arabic, but that's what it said.
That's what it says. So he sees him shoot Doc. No, bastard.
So he like hops in the DeLorean. And he
and now I'm not sure why, because Doc was going 25 years in the future. I'm not sure why the clock was set for November 1955.
He was talking about the day that he invented it, and he was
just showing him the
right. Like maybe you could go back to this day or whatever. Gotcha. He was showing him how the time circuit thing worked, and he didn't reset it.
And Marty apparently already forgetting 2 minutes later that if you drive this thing 88 miles per hour, you will travel to the fucking through the time.
And why didn't he try to get out of like the parking lot?
It's a car. Drive onto the street. What are you doing? What are you doing? So they pull out a rocket launcher.
Well, they got a bazooka, I guess.
Or whatever, a bazooka, and he hauls ass, and bam. He's in an open field, drives into a barn, and crashes.
Yes, because that's what Doc was saying, that all this used to be farmland.
Yep. And the family comes out to check. Mm-hmm. It looks like an airplane without wings.
Yeah, and it looks like a spaceman.
Yeah, because the kid has a comic book, a space.
The Tales from Space. So they run away shoot it!
Marty gets out in the hazmat suit.
So he drives away from Old Man Peabody's, and he kills the pine tree on his way out. And now it's the lone
shoot
pine
at him.
hole.
He's already mutated.
Right, yes.
He's turning into a human. You space bastard.
Yes. So now he finds his neighborhood, the Lion Estates or whatever, but it's just the gates. There's nothing there. There's no houses yet.
And a billboard for upcoming houses.
What the fuck is going on?
So he parks his car in back of that billboard.
Well, because now the car won't start. The
Right.
plutonium chamber is empty.
So he hides it and heads into Hill Valley on foot.
Yep, he's like, he has to go,
Mr. Sandman.
boom, 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 boom. Reagan's
a
still an
dream.
actor.
And yeah, so
He
he's
should have fixed that shit too while he was
right.
out there.
Fix it.
So now the clock tower still works. Mayor Red Thomas instead of, which is the guy that's been sleeping on the bench.
Oh, how did I not even clock
He tells
that?
him
'Cause
that
he
all
calls
the time.
him Red. Yeah.
He used to be mayor.
Wow. Movie still costs 50 cents. There's no
Yes.
triple X movies at the theater.
No.
The Texaco is full service, uniformed, choreographed
I
fucking
know.
oil changes,
And there
whatever.
was even Texacos in the future. And like, when was the last time you seen a Texaco? I can't remember
I don't
the last
know.
time
And we
I
used to have
seen
Texacos all over
Yeah.
the place. Do they still exist? They do.
I don't know. Do they
Does
still
Texaco exist?
No, I'm checking to see if maybe another company bought
Because
them.
that's what I'm trying to think.
like the big red.
Because it was black and red?
No, red and white.
Red and white.
And it had like the big star on
Yes.
it. It was like,
and yeah, I'm just not.
Apparently,
re-
there's one in Indio.
Oh, okay. So there's at least one
is a
somewhere in
Texaco.
100 miles.
This made it
They're
seem
under Chevron. So
Oh, maybe
okay.
Chevron.
Okay, all right.
Combined or something. So yeah,
With our powers combined.
the clock tower chimes.
Right. He looks up Doc in the book.
Yeah, he goes to Lou's Cafe, finds Doc's number in the book, tears the whole goddamn page out. Like,
Like you can't remember 1640 Riverside Drive?
it's not that hard, bro.
1640. I did. 1640 Riverside Drive.
She knows it. She didn't even write it down.
And I mean, I guess it wouldn't be the same place because that would have been the mansion that burned
Right.
down or whatever.
Right,
so
right.
it wasn't necessary. But wouldn't he know that that's where it used
I
to
don't
be?
know, man. Or you
It's
don't have
still-
a pen in your pocket or nothing. You can't just like write it
Well,
on your
why
hand.
would he go back
or-
in time with a pen in
Because
his
he wasn't
pocket?
planning to go back in time. He was planning to meet an old man at
Well, he did
1:15
just come
a.m.
from
in a mall
school.
parking lot.
well-
You come prepared.
Oh, it's
you don't
one in
know
the
what
morning.
he's going to want you to do.
That's true. I
Taking
guess.
notes is the least bad
That's-
thing he could ask
right,
you for
I
at
guess
1:15
so.
in the morning.
I need you to take some notes. Oh, thank God.
Oh, I got my pen.
Oh, thank God.
So the cafe guy's like, "You gonna order something, kid?
Right. He was like, let me get a tab.
I can't give you a tab unless you order something.
A Pepsi free.
You're gonna pay for it."
Something
I'm not giving
without
you a Pepsi
sugar.
free.
So
All
he
right.
gives him some black coffee. And he sits next to his dad.
And here comes Biff. Hey,
McFly.
McFly,
They both turn around.
you got my homework?
Hello. Hello.
And they start to tease Marty about his life jacket, which Tessa is wearing
I got
a blue
my
version
mine's a
tonight.
blue from 1985, actually.
Ooh, but they forget that because it's more important to
Right, they
hassle
keep-
George McFly.
They keep asking. He gets asked like, "Oh, were you off the ship?" Mm-hmm. Like he,
If he's a Navy guy or something. So then Goldie, the mayor from 1985
Right.
is like probably 18, 19 years old and
He's
works
like,
in this cafe.
You got to stand up for yourself. Like I'm gonna be somebody someday.
and
he's
Marty's like, yeah, you're going to be the mayor. And he's like, hell yeah, I am.
I
Fuck
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, I'm gonna be the fucking mayor.
Hell yeah, kid.
And he was like, yeah, sure. A mayor like you, like that would ever happen.
Oh, it's going to happen.
Oh, it's gonna happen. And now I wonder, would he have become mayor
If he
Marty
had said
never
that,
mentioned that?
there's
to
a
him?
few things that I wonder.
Yeah.
And wait, are they all going to be things that he made black people do
Oh my god.
with his insight and wisdom as a 17-year-old white boy
in the
who went
80s.
back to the past?
Well, thank you
He
for
inspired
fixing
this
that.
black man to be mayor.
Under-
He inspired, was it
Well,
Chuck
seriously.
Berry or what was it?
Oh yeah, Chuck
Marvin.
Berry.
Marvin
his
calls
cousin.
his cousin
me,
Chuck.
your cousin Marvin Berry. And so they had to make sure you knew.
So yeah, Johnny B. Good came from Michael J. Fox, not from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Insanity.
So George takes off while Marty's not looking, and he follows him and finds him peeping in a tree
In a tree, peeping through Lorraine's window
at her in her panties with the binoculars.
with the binocular.
Yeah, there is.
Binoculars. They come with that mint spray. Binoculars. And he's
But
like,
yes.
fuck, he's a peeping Tom.
I know. Like, really? This is your meet cute?
And right as they're about to have their meet cute, and he falls out of the tree and is almost hit by this car.
Marty pushes him out of the way, and he gets
that
hit by
morning. Your mother told you the goddamn story and said the words. If
I
your
mean-
grandfather hadn't hit him with the car, you would have never been born. Don't
Well-
push your father out of the way of any cars. It's supposed to happen.
I mean, you were standing there. Yeah. it was
That goes
supposed
for
to,
you
like,
all
don't-
out there. No,
Just let it happen.
let it happen.
Just let it happen. Well, I mean, I'm sure he's probably, because he hasn't run back into Doc yet. Doc did not give him any rundown on what you are and are not supposed to do.
Right, because he wasn't
in time
supposed to
travel,
be
'cause it
time
wasn't supposed to
traveling.
go.
Right.
So he did not brief him.
And George runs off while now Marty is unconscious in front of the car, and the grandpa's like, "Oh, one of these damn kids jumped in front of my car."
Another one. How many
How often
people
does
are
this
in your
happen?
daughter's tree?
And I'm sorry, she'd already be dating somebody if you hit any other boys in the street, because
I
that's
know.
all it takes for Lorraine.
Apparently, just to bring him in the
It
house.
doesn't matter who it is,
They
as
put
long
him
as he got hit
straight
by
in
her
her
dad's
bed.
car. Yes, they did.
They take off their pants and put him straight in her bed.
She took off his pants. She told him to
right.
put his pants back on before her mom came in. She was supposed to be peeping at his chonies.
Lorraine.
Little miss. I didn't kiss no boys. I didn't park in no
Lorraine,
cars.
but I will take your pants off your unconscious body.
And it was not like it was raining. It's not like his pants were wet or something.
No, there was
like
no reason. No.
her pants were wet.
Her pants were wet.
She left those on. No, she was wearing a dress.
Wow.
And so he wakes up in the dark and he hears her voice. Mom, is that you? And she's
Right.
like, oh, you've been asleep for 9 hours. And why does she say
I
it
know,
like an
she
old
sounds-
lady voice? You've been asleep for 9 hours.
I'm gonna
That's how my
pretend to be
45-year-old
your
self
mom.
sounds.
Yeah.
Been asleep for
Oh,
9
I'm like a
hours.
little Winona Ryder in fucking Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, God.
There
like,
was no snow.
He tells her he had a nightmare that he went back in time, and she's like, well, you're safe and sound now, back in good old 1955. And she turns the light on, and it's, oh no, it's Hot Mom.
Hot mom.
My name is Lorraine Baines. Oh, you must be Calvin. And he's like, what?
What are you
Why
talking
you-
about? She's like, it's in your underwear.
Never seen purple underwear before, Calvin.
Lorraine.
He's like, where's my pants? What the fuck?
She was like, you want your pants back?
She tries to sit next to him. He falls off the
I
bed
know.
trying to get away. Like, what the fuck?
She is rabid. Lorraine, calm down. He needs like a spray bottle.
Well, when you find out how many siblings she has,
I guess.
maybe that's all that family thinks about.
It's just sex.
Banging. She's got
Banging.
like 6 siblings or
That's
something
true.
when
There
he
was
gets
quite a few of
downstairs.
them.
So yeah, her mom comes, she throws his pants at him. They go downstairs and Grandpa rolls in the TV to watch Jackie Gleason while they eat. Family's first TV. And Marty's like, oh yeah, I saw this one.
Yeah, this is a classic.
He's like,
What are you talking about?
Brand
This is
new
brand
TV.
new. The kid from fucking Wonder Years is her
is the
brother.
brother. And the sister looked familiar too. And I forgot to fucking say
Oh, yeah.
there was, she was, no, Curly Sue? No. Was
I
Curly
was
Sue that age? Too young?
No, maybe.
Oh, 85?
I feel like that might be too young. It might
Because
be
what
her.
year was Curly Sue? 90?
It might be. Yeah, that may
So
be.
maybe
could
it was,
be if
she was pretty
really
little. I don't, she looked like something
Jesse
like that.
Eisenberg's sister, you mean? Or no, that's not Jesse Eisenberg's sister. Yes,
Adventures in Babysitting.
The little girl from Adventures in Babysitting, and then Elizabeth,
Yeah.
she was in part 2.
Oh.
We need a Keith Coogan sighting up in here. Why is Tessa making Garth face right now? Something about that jacket and the face you made
And
was
the glasses.
giving hardcore. Yeah, and the glasses is giving Garth vibes right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
she was in
God.
Parker Lewis Can't Lose, too.
Parker Lewis
Oh,
can't
shit.
lose. I loved that show.
I did.
That
Yeah.
show. So yeah, they go down
And
to
she
dinner.
was in The Wonder Years.
Oh,
Along with the brother. It's just one episode.
shit.
But
Huh.
okay.
All right.
Connections,
Yeah.
connections.
Connections. Was she Paul's little sister?
So yeah, Lorraine's trying to squeeze his knee under the table.
I
and
know,
he can
she
sleep
is
in my
thirsty.
room.
Lorraine.
Ma'am.
She is parched.
Oh my god, you don't know anything about this boy except for he wears lavender underwear.
You know nothing. Like you. I mean, I guess she
and he's
said she had been
susceptible to
parked
being
in
hit by cars.
parking before.
So yeah, he jumps up and leaves. He's like, oh, no,
I gotta go. My mom's trying to touch my dick right now. It's kind of weird.
I do not like this. I do
not
not
like this.
I'm never gonna get long again at this rate.
My legs aren't the only thing that's long, baby.
Oh, you're getting me so long right now.
I'm so long right now. I'm so long.
What did I say? Long like Marty Jr.'s one sleeve and Back to the Future 2? That's right. So long.
So long. Getting me so long.
So he finds Doc's place, which is a big ass fucking nice house now, not just like a little
Right,
garage studio, whatever.
It's the mansion now.
And the Doc opens the door in this weird ass helmet.
Yes, he's like, are you the keymaster?
Right? Practically. Let me immediately stick an electrode to your head, strange
He's
young
like, I'm
man.
gonna read your thoughts.
And he
was
looks like almost this. He looks a little bit younger. They put a little bit of old man stuff on him
yes.
because he had wrinkle neck in in 1985 that he didn't have in 55?
I think that's funny just because in the second one or whatever, when he
I had
peels off
yeah,
that,
where I was like, you
layer of
look
face.
exactly the same.
I think that's the joke.
And he met you in 1955, so even if you looked 30 years younger, he would know what you look like.
I did appreciate his collection of shirts in 1955. Those must have burned
Yeah,
down
he
with
had
the
some good ones.
Mancion
He had
because
some
I
good
feel like
ones.
he wasn't wearing them in the 80s.
So he's trying to read Marty's thoughts with this contraption, and it doesn't
Right.
work because he tells him basically, I'm a time traveler. I need to get back to 1985. And he's like, you know what that means?
That this
Damn
doesn't
thing
work.
doesn't work. I didn't guess any of that.
Right. And he was like, how do I know that you're from the future? And he shows him his license. He's like, it expires in 1987. Look at this. My sister's shirt, class of 84. Who's the president?
Ronald Reagan.
The actor.
Who's vice president? Jerry Lewis.
What is it? Jane Wyman is the first lady? No. Gluck Gluck Nancy. I bet you Doc would know. He'd be like,
Oh,
that mattress
Nancy. I'm
of
aware.
the nation, you say?
I am aware.
I'm aware.
So he's
I've
like,
seen
but
him, met
look,
her
I know
once."
you got the bruise. I know you got the bruise on your head, and it wasn't from Nancy. That's how she got the bruise on her head.
Right.
Different scenario.
Different scenario. But you had fell off of the toilet seat and you came up with the flux capacitor.
And so he opens the door like,
Wait a minute.
and before we find out what happens next, now is a good time to take a break. We'll be right back.
All right, Paul. So I think it's time we, made a trailer.
Do we have to?
Like, people keep asking, so we're gonna deliver.
Well, what are we supposed to do in this damn trailer?
We're just gonna talk about shit we do here. We theme our months, right? Like, what do we?
I mean, I know we've done stuff like musicals and animation month and creature features, all sorts of stuff, but is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's something kind of like that. That I'm probably gonna sit there and tell people, we're on all social medias. We're on the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and it's all under Flicks and Friends podcast.
Yeah, I guess so, if they're not tired of hearing that by now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that'll work. Should we press record?
Yeah, let's press record right now.
And we're back.
We're back.
So Marty takes Doc to the time machine
Yes.
and shows him, look, the flux capacitor. This is the thing you drew this morning, right?
Yeah. He was like, oh, shit. It looks just like it.
And he shows him the video. They go back to his place and he shows him the video. He hooks it up to this old, I don't know how, is Marty a science guy?
I don't know.
Like, he
he
figured
just
this
happened
shit
to
out?
have the chords. Because, he's
Right.
playing it from the...
From the camcorder.
right, but...
Into a 1955
But the
era
19
television.
Right, the 1955 television has the hookups.
I don't think it had any hookups except for power.
Yeah.
'Cause it was
I mean,
antenna.
maybe Doc figured it out.
Maybe. And he sees the thing, 1.21 gigawatts. Great Scott!
He was all excited, like, oh, shit, like, I actually did something that worked.
And now, is a gigawatt a unit of measure? Or is it not a Is it
Gigawatt?
gigawatt?
There was
But
something
he says
I read
gigawatt?
about...
Oh, does he also say
He says
GIF?
it that way.
No, maybe he
Oh,
says
God, I
GIF.
hope not. Thankfully...
Biopic. Tessa's gonna throw her drink.
Thankfully, this was before all that. And we don't have to have that
Was
discussion.
it though?
So Marty's
Yes.
like, look, all we need is a little plutonium. And he's like, well, you're stuck here then because I don't
know,
have
'cause
nowhere to get plutonium.
Maybe in the future they sell that shit at every corner store, but here that's
Only
not
a
how it
bolt
works.
of lightning can generate that much power, but we don't know when lightning will strike. And
And
Marty's
he's
like,
hold on, yeah, we do. I got this clock tower.
actually,
I fucking wrote that. Look at this. Look.
with the CK. Actually, I have this little newspaper ad or whatever,
Right?
this little
I
flyer
know
in my pocket.
exactly when some lightning is about to strike. 10:04 p.m. next Saturday night.
Ooh, we got to harness the lightning and channel it into the flux capacitor. We're sending you back to the future.
He fucking said it.
He looked right in the fucking
I know
camera.
he did. He did. He broke the fourth wall.
Back
He said,
to the
Back
future."
to the future. He wanted you to know. It was like the ride. There was
Oh,
a whole
yeah.
thing. I watched the ride. There was like a whole build.
Where was that, at Universal or something?
Universal.
It
something.
was.
Never
One
got
of
to
those
see
like
that.
motion ride things. And the thing that they play while you're waiting in line.
Yeah.
Was that, and it almost seemed like that because there's a lot of that. We got to do this. We got to do that.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Then we got to
and
go
it-
back to the future.
A gigawatt is a billion watts.
So what's a
Oh.
gigawatt? That's just how he pronounces gigawatt?
I think so.
Okay. So, or maybe
Okay.
we're pronouncing it wrong. I don't know.
No. I don't because it's
It's
a G.
GIGA. So
Yeah.
it's
G.
That's giga.
Giga.
So Doc tells Marty, don't leave the house, don't see anyone, don't talk to anyone. It could have repercussions on future events. Did you interact with anyone else today?
Well,
Just maybe my parents.
you suck your parents.
Let me see that photo of your brother. His fucking head is gone.
Is
Way
he
to
walking
go.
around somewhere in the future
Wait,
without a
See,
head?
now these are my questions. During
Right?
the time, and when we briefly cover Back to the Future 2, I have the same question about leaving Jennifer on that fucking porch as
Right.
the time
Goes
stream
by.
changes.
Yes.
So slowly.
But yeah. Is he headless now? Is he somewhere in fucking 1985 and now my head? So yeah,
weird.
he's gonna take him down to Hill Valley High School and enroll him in school so he can fix this.
Yeah, because you got to fix this because now your whole life is disappearing, and if you don't fix this, you'll disappear too.
And by the way, which one's your dad? Oh, only the one getting kicked all the way down the hallway in the butt with
That's
the kick
your
me
old
sign.
man? That's
Maybe
a
you
bummer.
were adopted.
Right.
And Strickland works there, looks exactly the same in
Right.
1955.
Yeah.
You're a slacker.
He's calling him a slacker and all the same thing. He's had the same job for 30 years.
And Marty, upon seeing how his dad is at school, realizes, oh no, my mom really only liked my dad because he got hit by the car.
Right.
I fucked it up.
pink.
Because he
fucked
tries
it up,
to like
man.
ignore or he tries to introduce
Yeah.
his
and
folks
it's-
to
and
each
the
other.
way-
And she just,
and now the way
I know.
George does the arm, like he's Sam Neill in fucking
I know. Who do you think you are?
In the Mouth of Madness. Like
What
you're
made you think?
you can't even barely speak to her and you're gonna do the arm on the
I
locker
know.
over her head.
And she just completely ignores him and
But
goes
Calvin.
straight.
How are you,
Calvin.
Calvin?
How are you in your purple underwear, Calvin?
Which he's wearing the whole time,
Oh, yes.
right?
Oh, yeah.
He's clearly in them
They
same
have
dirty
not
purple Calvin
changed-
Kleins.
He doesn't get to change clothes, and neither does Jennifer.
So yeah, the bell rings. They got to go to class, and there's this outtake. So this scene never happens where he's showing Doc his mom through the window.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But if you haven't seen this outtake, it's hilarious. Where Michael J. Fox is dressed like an essay. Have you seen this? He's got the hairnet and
Yes,
the white tank
yes,
top
yes,
and
yes.
his fucking chinos pulled up, and he's showing Doc like, "Hey, that's the bitch." And he like points through the classroom window at his mom.
Why is he
And he's
dressed
all,
like-
"She's fucking cheating, eh?"
Why is he dressed like
I
that?
don't know. The only thing I could think of is like he was getting dressed and had the undershirt and halfway looked in the mirror and went, "Oh my God, how funny I look like
an
an essay or whatever." And he's like,
vato.
"Hey, give me a hairnet.
Give me a hairnet.
Give me a hairnet. This is going to be
Oh my
hilarious."
gosh.
And he does like a vato take of him seeing his mom in class. And Doc Brown Christopher Lloyd
like-
keeps it total straight. Like he's not even giggling.
No.
And Michael J. Fox is laughing through the whole thing like, "Hey, there's the bitch." She's like yelling through the window. It's so funny. Look that up if you haven't seen it.
Choice.
I guess. I
just
think
the
it
thing
was
he
just
decided to
because they
do.
didn't even do a scene where he sees her through the window. They saw
Right.
her in the hallway.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to point her
Just
out.
a whole
Yeah.
other thing that they put him in
But
a
yeah, it's
different
hilarious.
costume.
It's hilarious. So
That's
yeah,
funny.
and he's Doc tells him basically, "Shit, your mom has the hots for you."
Yeah, I don't know how to tell you this. And he was like, well, you better get them together. And he was like, oh, shit, that dance. He was like, oh, a rhythmic ceremonial event.
Yes, you
'Cause
better
he talks weird.
stick with your dad and make sure they go to the dance.
So George is over here writing sci-fi stories that no one is allowed to read because what if nobody likes them?
And now, does the chicken thing even come up in the first one with Marty and being called a chicken? Because it wasn't until Back to the Future 2, and then they made it seem like retroactively like it was a thing you were supposed to know
Right.
about Marty is that he doesn't like. But I don't think that happens in the first Back to the Future.
I don't know. Maybe I have a note about it at some point.
Yeah, we'll see. Because if he
Yeah.
says it, I've got to have written it down.
Right. So he tells George that he's got to ask Lorraine to the
Yeah,
dance
she
because
likes
she
you.
likes you. And over here, Biff is like hardcore harassing,
Really
like
hardcore.
really.
and
a
she
lot.
clearly does not want it. She's
No.
like, "Shut your filthy mouth. I'm not that kind of girl."
Shut your fucking mouth, Uncle Fucker.
And so Marty sticks up for her, but Biff stands up and he's fucking huge.
Marty, again, stop.
Stop interfering with
Stop
stuff with your
interfering.
parents.
You're only making her
You
hotter
know
for
she,
you.
exactly. She already got you down to your purple chonies, and you're playing with fire, sir.
Playing with fire.
Be
You're gonna burn the
standing
river,
up for
living
her.
room rug.
Let
this
Biff
rate.
molest your mother.
Just
let it happen. You're gonna have to. If your dad's not gonna handle it, this is just how it's
or
going down.
Nudge George and get him
Right?
in there. Like, what the fuck? Stop it.
Go get over there. Make like a tree and get out of here.
That was his. He came up with
Oh, that was his thing. And I love that they reference it again in the second one, and his old self smacks himself upside the head and he's like, it's leave! You sound like an idiot!
Yeah, that and Butthead were his contributions to his character.
So yes, they're about to fight, and Strickland walks in. George is bailed already. He's the chicken. No wonder. Maybe is that why Marty has a thing?
Why about being called a chicken?
Because I swear it doesn't come up before he saw this happen with his dad.
Gotta go back in time.
So he chases his dad home, like, you gotta ask Lorraine to the dance, and he's like, no, I'm gonna miss science fiction theater.
He's like, what is this gesturing?
That's a Crispin Glover gesture, I think.
I know. So he's like, all right, I got a plan. So he goes and pretends.
Well, because he says, no one on this planet will make me change my mind.
So now I got an idea.
So Marty's like, oh, really?
Right.
I've got a weird costume, and
I'm going to pretend to be a spaceman.
So he puts his Walkman. Puts the Walkman on his dad.
A Walkman with Van Halen.
And with Van Halen, and fucking hits play. And which song was it even? I can't even remember now. I didn't write it down. And now in the outtakes, before this, during this scene, he explains. So this scene is super quick. He wakes him up with the Walkman. My name is Darth Vader. And then the next day he runs into Marty like, oh my God, Darth Vader said, I have to ask Lorraine out. Well, the outtakes is a scene where he's talking to him like in the Darth Vader voice and telling him all the things he has to do. And then in order to extricate himself from the situation, he has to chloroform his father.
Where did he get from Doc?
So when he comes to school late the next day and says, I overslept, it's because Marty chloroformed him after he showed up as Darth Vader.
So he nearly died.
Basically, like, you could have fucking killed the man.
You could have killed him, and then you're in real trouble.
Seriously. So yeah, there was a longer scene where he stands over him telling him, whatever, you got to do this because of this, whatever.
Right.
But all they needed was him saying to Marty, Darth Vader came to me and said, I better ask out Lorraine.
Yeah, you gotta get some cojones.
From planet Vulcan.
Yes.
Oh.
Darth Vader from planet Vulcan, no.
And now I wonder.
And then a bunch of nerds' heads exploded.
Him telling his dad, who was writing science fiction stories, the names Darth Vader and Vulcan, and then he goes on to write science fiction stories. Does he fuck up all of the Star Trek and Star Wars universe with that?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
So yeah, so he goes to find Lorraine in the cafe, and he has written down what Marty told him to say.
Sure,
which is
like, go do it.
It's their destiny. Destiny brought them together.
Right. And
she's the most beautiful girl. Whatever.
Get a chalky milk to get up that nerve.
Give me a milk. Chocolate milk. And he slides it over, and there's a lot of outtakes of him not catching that milk also. And it just shattering all over the floor.
I bet you he did that shit on purpose, just like let it go.
Crispin Glover seems like a weird
That's what I'm
dude,
saying.
man.
He seems
this
like
is
a
the
weird,
most normal
weird
character he ever played, was being nerdy sci-fi.
I know.
George McFly.
Yeah.
So he's like, so he goes up to her, my density.
Yeah, my density. Density brought us together. Lorraine.
What I meant to say
density.
was, yeah, I'm your density. Like, he does not make it any better.
No, and she's like looking at him, but here come Biff.
Oh,
God
hey,
damn it.
McFly. I thought I told you. Never to come in here.
Jinx.
And Biff and his gang with their money.
Right. And this motherfucker, I don't know why, but the 3D glasses guy makes me so angry.
And that's Casey Semesco or whatever his name is. Yes.
He's a fucking pugilist. He's got those fucking glasses
from fucking
on. Like,
Stand By Me.
what is it? You can't see shit.
I know. And then in the Back to the Future 2, and he has the long hair.
Yes.
And
Yes.
It's all sleazy looking.
Oh.
So Marty trips him. Mm-hmm. And Biff, what's that?
Yeah,
sucker punches him. And now
Lorraine's
panties are so wet, she's stuck to the fucking vinyl
I know.
seat.
She has ruined
Marty
the booth in this whole thing, because that was really fucking cool, because he's like half Biff's size.
And that's not even before. That's before he goes outside, stops a kid with a box scooter,
and like,
tears up
busts
the box,
brakes
makes
off
it
of
into a skateboard, and fucking
sparks everywhere,
grabbing onto the back of the car.
I know. And this is where you could definitely see that that's Billy Zane in the little background there. You see more of his face. So now
he's an absolute dream. Oh man, how many times did she jork her vagina to her own son?
She florked her burn.
Oh, flork in the barn.
She just sees lavender.
Oh man, she just sees that
lavender,
Calvin
right?
Klein bubble
Every
booty in
time
her face.
she sees it, she's like,
So yeah, she's they catch up to him. He's
Right.
hanging onto the hood ornament and he climbs over the top of the convertible.
Biff's gonna ram him.
Yeah.
He's just gonna run him over in front of all these witnesses.
But instead, he runs right into the manure truck.
Oh,
shit!
I hate manure.
And Marty even gives the kid his board back.
I know.
Where does he come from? Where does he live? I don't know. But I'm gonna find out. She is so horny for her own son. This is where I have the note where I'm like, at what point does she realize? Like, does she ever realize? And we talked about this a little bit in text message. Does she ever think at some point in the future, oh my God, as Marty becomes a teenager,
Right, like you're like the spitting
look
image.
so
And I
much
mean,
like this kid.
And I get, again, like you said, we talked about it, but not on here, that I almost said Marty. Michael J. Fox had said something about, like, think of all the people that you knew in high school that
Right.
long ago, 30 years ago or whatever. And they only knew this kid for like a week.
Right. He disappeared
but he
out
had,
of,
like, very significant whatever. So you would
Right.
think
He
at
was
some
part of
point-
how you met your husband.
Right.
So
And then you decided Marty sounded like a nice name.
to name your child.
Right.
Yeah. Very weird. Very weird.
And then that kid that you named Marty, not your
Grew up
first child,
to look just like
your third
Yeah.
child, and grew up to look, wow, like you even look like him. Exactly. I don't know.
I think, and like, I'm clearly he wasn't there on yearbook photo day, so there's no way you can
there's
go
no
back and go,
picture.
wait a minute,
Right.
what is?
He wasn't there on
What does he
yearbook
look like?
photo day. That's true. I guess you couldn't do that, and like you could.
So
just
yeah,
like,
I don't
my
know.
mind must just be
well,
playing
and she
tricks
drank
on-
a lot,
Well, that's what I was going to say too, but not in the fixed.
not in the fixed
Not in the
version.
fixed version,
So
not
it's
in the
more
fixed
likely
version.
in the fixed version they would remember him because everything
Yes.
went well because of sort
Right.
of all the influence he had on
Exactly.
them.
That does make
You're
more
right.
sense. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, so he goes back to Doc's place
Mm-hmm.
and he's now rewatching over and over the part of the tape where he's saying, "Marty, run for it."
Right. He's like, Marty's trying to tell him.
Like, it's something important I need to tell you
He's
about
like,
what
no,
happens.
you can't tell me anything about what happens in the future.
And by the way, I made this whole clock tower in downtown.
Oh, I know. I
Out
built
of
this
clay
while you
or
were
whatever.
out fucking up your whole future.
Yeah. And so he's got this little RC car. He hooks up a little cable hook.
Right.
And they send it running in. The car lights on fire. It drives off the
course.
table
Well,
into
it
a
makes
barrel
a
of
grease
greasy
fire
rags
instead
and starts fire.
of time travel. But I mean, it's just a model. It wasn't supposed to actually work.
And when Doc's asking him about how things went with his parents, there's someone knocks on the door.
Relax, Lorraine.
Thirsty.
Relax, Lorraine. A little bit of misery.
followed him.
And what?
You
what
followed
has
him
he
to a
given
strange
you?
house and you went and knocked on the door. Like, what if, number one, this is just his house where his parents live?
Right. And number two, what if he's like blowing the old weird scientist guy in his
I
mansion?
don't know what's happening.
You
here,
don't know
Lorraine.
what's happening.
You don't
And, like,
know.
What indication
Has he given it
you
all?
that, like,
Well, he stood up for her in front of Biff.
I guess maybe guys just didn't do that back then.
Yes, I don't know. Not 5'2" guys, or
I
however.
guess. Well, I mean,
however tall Michael
apparently
J. Fox
Biff
is.
was very comfortable just assaulting her out in the open. So
True.
I guess.
True. So yeah, so she follows him. He tells her, "Oh, Doc's my uncle," and she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I invite you to invite me to the dance on Saturday."
Right. What will you just go ahead and ask me to the dance?
And he's like, "What about George?"
What about
It's
George?
kind of cute, but like, I want a man who stands up for himself and protects the woman he loves.
She's like, I'm not hot for George.
he doesn't make me soggy in my panties.
Relax, Lorraine.
So Marty goes to George and tells him, "Look, we got to show her you're a fighter. I'm gonna take her to
Right.
the dance. I'm gonna feel her up, my
Right,
own
like-
mother."
You're gonna have to save her from me.
And he's like, "Oh, you're gonna take advantage of her?" And he's like,
No, like, not really. Like, you just-
but like, you just come up, hey, get your damn hands
Right.
off her, punch me out. You guys live happily ever after.
Right. And like Doc tells him, I'm gonna miss you. It's weird to wait 30 years to talk to anybody about what happens tonight. And then again,
Yeah, he's like all stoked about meeting him. Like, you gave me
Right.
renewed confidence in myself and that
Right.
I'm actually gonna make something that works.
sure, because he apparently has not been successful. So
Yeah.
like
So
again,
you
he's-
wonder, you're like,
I don't know.
what else has he made that worked? Nothing.
Right,
apparently.
nothing. Apparently, this was the first and only thing. So now, he tries to tell him about his future, and he's
Doesn't
like,
wanna hear
"Don't
it.
tell me." So Marty writes him a letter, about how he gets shot.
Slips it into his pocket.
And says, do not open until 1985. So he doesn't have to know about
So
it now.
right, he's not gonna spoil anything. Like just
No.
the year that this is gonna happen.
Right.
You can't fuck up your whole life if you wait until
We're
like
already
the
going
year
to
it's
know
gonna
each
happen.
other. I almost wonder when they meet, or no, because he's going to go back to the night that it happened,
Yeah.
I guess. Well, couldn't he just
Time
go a little
travel's
bit into
confusing.
the... Well, then there'd be two of them.
Yeah.
My kid was trying to explain this to me.
I watch a lot of Doctor Who. I feel like I keep up better than some, but like there's still some questions for sure.
And now there would be two Martys, and then once this happens, there would be like another Marty. And I was like, I'm just watching the
too
movie,
much.
bro. It's fun. It's fun.
So yeah, a cop stops Doc and he's like, no, I got a permit. We're good. We're
Right.
good.
Of course, the cop comes to harass him,
And you see that at the dance, Marvin, Barry, and the Starlighters are playing.
they're playing at the dance,
And George is white boy
over there
dancing in the
dancing
corner.
awkwardly
by
in the
himself.
corner.
Not as awkward as was it a Friday the 13th movie?
Oh,
Have you
yes,
seen-
that's right. That's right. It
Where
was.
he does the Elaine from Seinfeld dance. Yeah.
like just apropos of nothing.
Yeah, for no reason. For no reason.
That's just how he dances.
And Marty and Lorraine pull up to the dance.
Yes, and she's like, "It's fine. It's not like I've never parked before."
Almost 18.
And he's like,
And he's
"Oh,
like, what?"
And you're drinking, you're smoking.
And that bottle, when he takes a swig off that bottle, there's also an outtake of they put real booze in that.
and he
And
was
that
not
spit
aware.
take is him not knowing that bottle was full of real booze and spitting everywhere. And when he turns to the camera in the outtake, he's just got all this like dark liquor like drooling off his mouth. He's like, what the hell?
Why would you do that to me?
So yeah, she drinks, she smokes, and she's like, you're beginning to sound like my mother.
Well, it's funny you should say that.
So inside the dance, George realizes, fuck, it's time.
It's 8:55, so he's nearly late.
But
And-
Lorraine got them titties popping.
Well, now Marty's not sure he could go through with it because she's got those titties.
She got
popping.
them titties right,
Right.
pushing them out.
It's like a first date.
She goes to kiss him and pins him to the car door.
And
and as soon as she lays a big wet one on him, she's like,
oh, I don't know. It's like kissing my brother.
which thank God.
Right? She got the ick somehow.
Thank God, because
Right? Because she was aggressive.
it's-
She was aggressive.
bad.
She would look like she was a go-getter. Mm-hmm. I wasn't asking, Marty.
Yeah. Do you see these titties popping? Do you see these titties popping?
They're popping.
So yeah,
So now Biff pulls him out of the car.
oh yeah, you
fuck.
caused $300 damage to my car. I'm gonna take it out of your ass.
Now you know what that means to me.
Take it out of your ass.
Yeah, that means he has to use nature's credit card. That doesn't mean he's gonna like.
I
beat
always
him up.
I always thought of it
I
as
was-
beating him up. I never thought of it as a sexual
but like
thing.
I've
but
anytime that you've always said, or not you specifically.
you know
but
how
any
I'm
that
always
you say,
telling you
like,
I'm gonna
yeah.
take stuff out of your ass.
But anytime you're taking anything out of my ass, it means
I'm gonna take it out of your ass.
it means you literally reach up there and take things out of my ass,
out of your butt locker.
out of my butt locker.
Give me
That's
my
right.
sweater you borrowed back.
Kept it in my butt
Take
locker.
it out of your ass.
It's safe.
but literally. So yeah, so Biff gets it. Let him go, Biff. You're drunk. So he gets
Right.
in and grabs her.
Yes.
He sees them titties. Only
I know.
what I wrote is he sees them riddles because auto corrected me wrong.
And then he was confused because he couldn't solve them.
No, the riddles. So the boys hold down Marty. Biff gets in, shuts the door to, I guess, rape her. I mean, I don't know what else is about to
That's
happen.
most likely what's about to happen.
And the boys go throw Marty in the back of the Starlighters car,
and
who
trying
they're
to,
all
like,
inside
trying
getting
to
high.
enjoy a joint while these assholes.
And they call him spooks, and they're all, who
Excuse
you
me,
call
they
him
all
spook
jumped the fuck out of the
Peckerwood?
car. Yeah,
Reefer addicts.
I know.
They run off screaming.
We don't want any trouble.
They can't get Marty out because the keys are in the trunk. Why are the keys
They're all-
in the trunk?
Get home to your mama, boy.
These men were smoking reefer
I
inside
know,
the car. Why are
because
the
they
keys
were-
in the trunk?
They were high.
I don't
and
know.
Put it in the trunk. Well, because was the trunk not open?
When they pulled that, when they rolled up and threw him in, yeah, it was wide
so
open.
it was
I think.
open. Maybe they were getting
Getting
stuff in and
equipment
out
out.
and whatever. And
Yeah.
they were in the car.
So George finally gets outside and thinks he sees Marty molesting Lorraine. Only when he opens the door and says his line,
It's fucking Biff.
and she's like, "George, help me,
I know.
please."
She's like, and
Oh.
Biff's like got his arm all twisted up.
Yeah, turn around and walk
Yeah,
away.
get out of here.
So Biff gets out to kick his ass and almost breaks his arm. And meanwhile, Marty gets out of the trunk, but the guitar player sliced his hand using a screwdriver to get him out of the trunk.
Right. So now Biff is over there laughing and he pushes Lorraine, which pisses George off.
He gets the rage.
Oh, and he finally manages to knock Biff the
Like
fuck out.
cartoon style.
I
like
know.
full 360 spin around.
I was
Fucking knocks him
expecting
out.
to see the little Tweety bird.
Yes, they should have. It wouldn't have even mattered that it didn't never happen again.
I would not have thought about it twice.
So now Marty gets there just in time to see it. He's all proud.
Right. He's
George
like, oh, fuck
helps
yeah.
Lorraine up.
And it's nearly 9:30. He's got to get over there, but
He checks the picture and his
and
sister's
it's
still
he's like,
disappearing.
fuck, they got to go in there and kiss. They have to kiss at the dance. So now he's like, hey, you guys get back in
to
there
the
and
band,
play.
right? You got to go finish. And he's
And
like, I
no,
fucked up my hand.
I can't. The party's over. Like, we're done.
Unless you know
can pay-
someone who can play guitar.
Well, it just so happens I'm really good at the Chiquita.
Earth Angel, Earth Angel, will you be mine? My darling dear, love me all the time. So only Marty is left in the photo. He's like panicked watching this. George and Lorraine are
Right.
dancing, but she's like, "Are you gonna kiss me?" And the fucking redhead from the bird
I was
shows
just gonna
up.
say, is that fucking Malachi?
That's Malachi. Goddamn Malachi. Cocky as hell.
I know.
For a ginger with fucking braces in 1955,
For
you're going
real.
to roll up and just take this girl?
He's like, it's howdy doody time, bitch.
I'm sorry, I guess you didn't hear that George McFly just spun Biff's ass around in the
I know,
fucking
the
circle?
word must not have reached Malachi. That
Where
he
were
just
you?
laid Biff the fuck out.
This is not your woman. Walk away.
I know, and
and he lets her. He's going to let him take her. And she's over there like,
George, what the
what
fuck?
are you doing? She should have kneed that dude in the nuts, though, honestly.
She really should have. I mean, girl, I get that, like, Biff was overpowering you.
I'm
and
sorry, you
whatever.
can be a strong, independent woman when you want to molest a man, but you
Oh,
can't be
I
a strong,
know.
independent woman when you don't want to be molested.
Seriously, you
Clock
had
a
little-
motherfucker.
You had little Michael J. Fox pinned up against the door in that car.
Yes, you did, man.
You couldn't get away.
You ain't weak.
You were about to put it on him.
You get what you want
I know.
when you need it, but like you need to learn to also
Seriously.
defend yourself.
defend yourself.
Unfortunately,
Right? Yeah.
you
well,
shouldn't have to.
No, you really
but you
shouldn't
do.
have to. But for the Malachis in the world, you
Yes,
gotta
you
learn
do.
how
And
to,
the Biffs.
and the
Yes.
Biffs and the Malachis. You got to put that knee right in the nuts.
But of course, so George does come back. He gives her the
Right.
big old smooch.
Sure. Yeah. Like
And Marty's
they-
hand suddenly reappears because he had
springs
started
back
to
to life.
disappear.
Right. So now
Marvin invites Marty to play something that really cooks.
something that really cooks. So he throws down some Johnny Be Good. I thought
Yeah,
that
this
was
is an
mine.
oldie.
But a goodie.
Well, an oldie where I come from.
Right.
Blues riff and B, watch me for the changes and try to keep up. Come on, 17-year-old white boy.
And they're all like, "What?
Go, 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 Johnny, go, go. And there is no
clearly not
way.
his voice.
There is no
They
way
didn't
that was
even-
Michael J. Fox.
Not even fucking close.
No.
It doesn't sound
No,
like
no, no.
him. It doesn't look like that voice is coming from that body.
And yeah, so somehow Marty McFly becomes a blues god.
Right.
Because he saw his mom and dad make out.
That's what does it for me.
And then Dave from summer school passes by on the dance floor talking to George. Oh, wow. Good stuff, man.
Yeah. So now the guy in the band is making a
Marvin
phone
calls
call.
his
Marvin.
cousin Chuck.
Yes, and that new sound you were like, yeah, who is this Marvin? Your cousin, Marvin Berry.
And so you're telling me Chuck Berry just stole the song Johnny
Yes.
Be Good
Yes.
from a
that tracks
high
for
school
Chuck Berry.
dance kid who was playing it at the
And
dance.
luckily, that would have been on the behind the music. They're like, legendary Chuck Berry had gotten a call from his cousin Marvin Berry that was playing the Enchantment Under the Sea dance in 1955.
So yeah, and then Marty goes too hard with the fucking wailing on the guitar. And everyone's like, oh, sorry. I guess you guys aren't ready for that yet, but your kids are going to love it.
I know everyone's just standing there like, I don't
So
know
when he
about
goes
that.
to leave, Lorraine stops him, and you can tell she's so not into it anymore.
I know,
She's like,
she's
so that
like,
music was,
That was something else. So anyway,
interesting."
George is gonna walk me home. He's gonna take me home. Okay.
And he's like, yes, I'm excited for you.
Right, that's
That's
awesome.
great. Marty tells him he'll see him again someday, and he wishes him luck. If you guys ever have kids and one of them, when he's 8, accidentally sets fire to the living room rug, go easy on him.
And they're like, okay, that's
Marty, such a nice name.
So now Marty has to book it to Town Square.
Yeah, Doc's waiting. There's only a few minutes left. And he even stopped to change his clothes.
I know, because he can't wear those clothes back to where he's going, because who fucking cares?
Who fucking cares?
So anyhow, those were his only pair of Nikes, I guess. So he tells
Doc goodbye. They hug goodbye.
And he was like, yeah, he never stood up to Biff in his life. And he was like, wait a minute, never? Like he never, ever in his life. And he gets a look like, uh-oh, that might have done something.
I didn't even clock that.
Yeah, because he tells him, he was like, wow, yeah, like all this happened. He knocked him out and he never stood up like his whole life.
Oh,
and
I didn't even notice though, like the look.
He's all, wait a minute.
Like,
he never, ever did.
So yeah, so they hug goodbye, and then Doc finds a letter in his pocket and tears it up.
That wouldn't have happened in their original past. He wouldn't have gone in there and punched him and done all of that stuff.
He wouldn't have needed to. She already was in love with him. But Biff always wanted Lorraine.
I
so
know.
I feel like it still would have come up.
It would have been a problem or whatever.
I feel like he still would have been a problem.
I know. Well, I don't know. That's a loose end.
So a tree falls in the wind and knocks their cable down, and now there's no time to argue about the letter he tore up. He's got to reconnect this shit.
Right. He's like, we got like 7 minutes. You got to, when this alarm goes off, hit the gas. And he's like, I'll see you in 30 years. So now, oh yeah, the wire
thing is
loose.
disconnected.
He's got whatever. Yeah.
Doc runs up. He ends up hanging off the clock hands because he falls, because the ledge is like all crumbling already.
Right.
Like how old is that place already?
I know. And he kept like, I have to tell you about the future.
No.
And that's when the clock is striking 10. So finally he's like, he's got to get in the fucking car. So he takes it back, puts the little hook on there.
And then the car dies.
Of course it does.
And then he's like, he finally gets it started, banging his head on the steering wheel.
Because that works. That always works.
And now the cord is too short for Doc because the tree fell on it in the storm. And he's like,
damn it. So he's got to do a little grappling move or whatever, a little zip line.
Zip lines down.
There. And right in the nick. Right in the nick.
Electrocuted in the process.
Yes.
The DeLorean hits the wires, it disappears, and the Doc's like, yeah.
The fire tracks means it works.
And now a helicopter is coming over the clock tower, so it must be 1985.
Marty arrives, he crashes into the porn theater.
And
Red
the old
is still
mayor,
on the
is
bench.
asleep on the bench.
The DeLorean stops again, and he sees the Libyans on their way to go shoot up Doc.
So yeah, he set the clock for 10 minutes in advance from when he left, so that he'll get there in time to save him.
That's what I was like. Couldn't he just do that? And I'm like, wait, no. But then he totally does.
So the Libyans end up crashing into the photomat, and Marty runs over to Doc and turns him over, and he thinks he's dead.
He's late because he
he watches the whole thing happen.
And now it's the Lone Pine Mall because he ran over that pine tree at Peabody's farm.
Oh, I didn't notice that either.
Yeah, now it's the Lone Pine Mall. So he gets there just in time to see Doc shot and sees himself taking off. He watches himself time travel 2 or 3 times.
He gets to see it from the outside.
Yeah. So now the Libyans crash into the photomat thing. It's a good thing they had those then.
Love a photomat. They're all like water places now.
Yeah,
if there's
or
any left.
propane.
Or something
stations. So he runs over to Doc,
but he's still alive because he wore a bulletproof vest because he taped the letter back together.
He got a little curious. A good thing they didn't do a headshot.
What about the space-time continuum?
Wow, what the hell?
So Doc takes him home and tells him, okay, I'm going 30 years in the future.
Right.
Marty says again, look me up, watch that re-entry, and Doc takes off.
Off he goes to bed. So now when he wakes up in the morning, shit is different.
All his shit in his house is nice now.
Right. He's like, whose house is this?
His siblings are all business-like. His sister has
Dave's
a ton of boyfriends.
Suit. Yeah. And George and Lorraine, they look great.
They're like yuppies. They're all fit.
They come back from their tennis lesson. Mom, you're so thin.
Dad trying to play grab ass with mom still.
Woo-hoo!
And tonight's the big date at the lake with Jennifer, right,
now
Marty?
she likes Jennifer.
Yes. And he's like, what are you talking about? The car is wrecked. And everyone's like, what?
What are you talking about? So he goes out there and he's got...
Biff is out there waxing it.
That truck that he wanted.
Mm-hmm. Well, first he's waxing the other car.
The Beamer.
Make sure you get 2 coats of wax, Biff.
Right?
Oh, no, I'm doing it right now.
I'm
starting it now.
So now he comes in with...
Biff's got the box of George's new book.
The new book, A Match Made in Outer Space.
And now, so this is his first novel while his kids are grown. So how's he been making money this whole time before
I don't know.
Before now?
Maybe this was a retirement
It took till he
thing.
was in his late 40s to publish a sci-fi novel?
I don't know. Maybe he did something else with his life.
So, and it's got a picture of Marty in the biohazard suit on the cover. Mm-hmm. And Biff brings Marty his keys, and he's like, what?
What are you talking
And
about?
he's got that shiny 4x4 in the garage waiting.
So Jen shows up not knowing anything.
Yeah, and he's like
why
he hasn't
anything
seen her
would
in a
be
week,
different.
and she's like, what the fuck?
That
Everything's
would
fine.
also be an interesting thing, too. So now everything has changed. Why are they still dating?
True. And like his memory hasn't changed. Like he
Right.
still remembers everything being weird.
But it would be totally different.
But Jennifer would know him as always having been like a rich
Yes.
kid, and his
Yeah.
parents are successful, but he
Yeah.
still lives in the same house. So the neighborhood is all nice
well, like,
now.
yeah, the neighborhood was all nice now. All the spray paint was gone. And I feel like he fixed the whole town.
Just from his dad not
I
getting bullied by
guess.
Biff.
I
fixed
guess.
everything.
Well, because Biff ruins everything.
We'll find out.
Biff
We'll
ruins
get there.
everything all the time. So maybe as long as you could keep Biff down,
Gotta keep Biff down.
the future will be okay.
So yeah, so he's like, explosions. Doc crashes into the driveway.
Right. He's like, whoa,
He
what the
gets out in
shit?
his future outfit, and he's like, Marty,
You gotta come back with me. Back to the future.
And he's like, oh, what's the matter? Did
He's
we
like,
become
"No, man,
assholes or something?
I just got back, Doc. I'm not going fucking
Yeah.
anywhere. I'm going to the lake this weekend.
We got to bring Jennifer. This concerns her too.
Yeah. And he's like, it's your kids, Marty. Your kids.
Something has got to be done about your kids.
Right.
What's this accent?
I don't know.
I
Is
don't
there
know.
a dog?
There is a dog. His name is Einstein.
So they get in, and he's like, we better back up, Doc. We got to
don't
get
have
up to
enough roads.
88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need
roads. And the
And
DeLorean
then-
flies now.
That is like the best ending and setup to what is a planned sequel fucking ever.
And the moral of the first Back to the Future is if you go back in your time and make out with your mom just once and chloroform your dad just once, your life will be fucking
Every
bomb.
way better. And every
You get a 4x4,
way
but 4x4.
4x4, yeah.
Your parents are healthy and
I
thin and in
know.
love with each other.
You
Your
got
siblings are
Monty.
successful.
Everything's good. Well, now this was another question that I had though, is that when Doc shows up and tells them we got to do something about your kids, they're not married yet. There are no children yet. Is he gonna fuck something
I know he's
up?
fucking up the whole time continuum by even saying that.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's so much to get into with parts 2 and 3. We're going to take a
Yeah.
quick break, and
And
we
then
will
we'll
come back
talk
and do the
about-
last
okay.
segment about 2 and 3.
All right. I like that.
We'll be right back.
Okay, Garth, we have 25 seconds to encourage people to listen to the Least Haunted
I
podcast.
thought you said we had 30 seconds.
That's because I had to say we only had 25 seconds. That took 5 seconds.
Okay, well, I could do 25.
Now it's 20.
Oh, we did episodes on Atlantis, the Mine Apocalypse, Headless Horse People, Stonehenge, the Kraken, Genital Magic.
Garth, we don't have enough time to list all of them.
Okay, well, so the important thing is we heavily research spooky, haunted, paranormal topics from the perspective of two skeptics in a fun podcast every other week.
Well, I do all the research.
And I listen.
Be like Garth.
Be like me.
And listen to the Least Haunted podcast.
And we're back.
We are back and
To the future.
Oh shit!
Because right after he gets home,
I know, he's got to go again. And like I said, it's like one of the best endings to a movie, knowing
that goes
it's gonna,
right into the sequel.
right into the sequel, because they do at the end of the first one, it says to be continued. And then at the end of the second one, to be concluded. And then the end. They will never do, they cannot, as long as the people are alive that made this movie, they cannot like do a
Make
remake.
a remake or reboot. They
No
shouldn't.
remake, no reboot.
They
No,
just
they
also
shouldn't.
shouldn't.
They really just shouldn't. They
So
really
yeah,
shouldn't.
so the sequel starts off almost exactly the same, except for mysteriously
Right.
Jennifer
Jennifer has changed.
is now Elizabeth Shue
Yes.
with a wig.
Yes, that looks like Claudia Wells. I don't know if that was Claudia Wells' hair. I'm
I
guessing.
don't think so. It's just the same wig.
But yes, they shaved Claudia Wells' head so that they could make a wig for Elizabeth Shue to become Jennifer.
And I don't know if once they decided to put her in the car at the end of the first one, if they changed what the second one was going to be, because there was really no need to have her in the car.
No.
I guess except for the whole her going back to the
Well,
house. That was the
that's what-
reason why.
Yeah, he said something about like we couldn't just leave her there
'Cause she saw the
the
time
time
machine.
machine and whatever. That's why I had to bring her, because he even asked her, I'm like,
And now the
Didn't you
time machine
say-
doesn't run on
no,
plutonium,
it
runs on trash.
garbage. Yeah, the Mr. Fusion little thing, and now it flies, of course, because we don't need roads.
And so he's like, we got to go back, your children, whatever. So they
Right.
get there. He puts her. So they go on like not the space highway, but this is
it's
like
the
there's flying
Skyway.
cars.
So now this is 2015. So
You guys,
none
we
of
don't
this
have
happened.
any
This is
of
10
this
years
shit
ago.
in
We are 10 years
2025.
beyond all of
Still
this.
no flying cars.
They
We
made
have Biff
those
for
Nikes.
president, but
well, we do have Biff
yeah.
for president.
Yes.
But they did make those Nikes.
Right. Did they really do the lace
I don't
up?
think they did the auto lace though. I think, but I feel like I saw something about that maybe they had something that they made those for Michael J. Fox with his Parkinson's, like a thing that he could
some
put
that
him on.
he can. Oh, that would be
Yeah.
cool.
I feel like they did something. It was something like that, but they did make those.
And they made the
shoes.
hoverboard too, but I don't think it really was a
No.
hoverboard.
No.
But they made like a
like
version
a
of it.
hoverboard.
Yeah.
Like the hoverboards you could get now.
I love that the hoverboard was like a girl's Mattel toy though. It was like
Oh,
a
I
Barbie
know.
hoverboard or
And
something.
it literally, like it said, like Mattel
all over it.
on the side of the thing. So yeah, so 2 strikes, no hoverboards, no self-lacing Nikes, no self-drying clothes.
Yeah, so he gets to the future. Jennifer's knocked out. They decide to leave her in a pile of fucking
Yes,
laser
we're
discs.
gonna leave her in an
We'll only
alleyway.
be here
That's
for
fine.
a couple minutes.
Sure.
Doc, didn't you learn
You
anything?
know better than that.
Come on now.
You
A
know
few
better
minutes.
than that.
So yeah, he sends him to intercept Griff, which does Doc not know this is Biff's grandson?
Yes.
He looks exactly like
I
him.
thought he
It's
did.
in the name.
I know,
Right,
and it's in his name. It's Griff.
Because it seems like he does not realize the significance of this whole Marty Jr. getting wrapped up with this gang. And
Right.
now Marty Jr.'s teeth
Oh.
are ever so slightly different from Michael J. Fox's teeth. Did you know this?
No.
Yes.
I didn't.
That's the only way. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's that he's moving his mouth differently because he's talking dumb
Yeah,
when he's Marty Jr.
yeah, he's kinda
But I
weird.
think they put just a slight veneer to make just the shape
I
of the
didn't-
top teeth different.
Oh, that's funny. I've never noticed that.
And why is Michael J. Fox an adorable girl?
I know. And did you notice?
Why
did
was
you
it
notice-
him? Why wasn't
I
she
know,
the
why was
daughter?
it- I
It's
don't
like
know.
the Foo Fighters video where they're all
Right?
kind of cute as girls.
I know. And did you notice that he had on those horrible like cloven hoof wedge sneakers? Like back then,
No.
they were like just like how those horrible wedge sneakers that I hate them so much. They look like cloven hooves
No, I
to
did not
me.
notice.
But I was like, wow, that was like. I mean, it would have been the future then, but by the time we got to actual 2015, that they got right.
Right?
Oh, they
That-
changed their teeth, but also their eye color.
Oh, I didn't notice
Oh.
the eye color.
I did notice that Griff had dark eyes.
How did Griff
They both had like
become-
dark brown contacts. It looks
Yeah.
like
He was even more of an asshole. Than
I know
somehow.
because he had those digital upgrades. He was all
Oh.
twitchy.
And he had like those rhino boots or whatever
I like
those were.
the boots.
Those
I
were
kind
crazy.
of would like the boots.
And he had the powered hoverboard where he could
'cause it
attach
doesn't
his
work
crew.
over water. Duh.
I love
Duh.
that little girl got to take his hoverboard though.
I know. She was like, "Yeah, now we got Pitbull."
When I forgot that they spend so little time in the future, like enough for you to see
Right.
some like Pepsi Perfect and
Right, and the Jaws 19.
and I'm sorry.
I know.
I know it
Because all
was
the sharks
3D,
still
but it
look
was
fake.
so cartoony.
Well, especially now when you consider those 3D billboard things
Yeah.
that you see on top of buildings.
It could
where
have
looks
looked like a
tiger is
real shark
jumping out at you.
Yes.
It would look like a real shark that if they would have done it like
Yes.
for now, what it
It
actually
wouldn't
looked
have
like.
been
So
a-
that was another
yeah.
miss. And also the scene where they do that hoverboard thing or whatever, they used this shot in the scene, but the
Oh, where the
girl
guy died or the girl died?
No, she didn't die. She
Oh,
was
she just got hurt.
severely fucking injured. Like she broke all the bones in her body. But you
From
see
crashing
her,
through the glass.
No, she hits the pillar.
Oh.
You see her hit the
Ouch.
pillar before. I don't even think she makes it through the building. I think she fucking hit that. And I don't think she died. I think she just broke
She just
everything.
got very, very hurt.
She broke her body.
Ouch.
And they use that shot in the movie. So it is immortalized.
Yikes.
Her busted
Well,
ass
I guess
body.
might as well make it worth it.
I mean,
if you imagine if
either
they
that or
cut
if
it,
you did it for
if you
nothing.
broke all your
You know
bones,
what?
and they're
You're
like,
right.
nah.
And when you're right,
it's
you're
not-
right.
they'll
And
make
that,
the
yeah,
cut.
it wouldn't have been for nothing. So yeah, or they did it once and they're like, well, fuck, we can't do it again.
Right? We don't. She's out of the picture now.
She's
so
definitely out of the
literally.
picture. So yeah.
So yeah, they go to the future just for a little bit, enough time for Jennifer to run into her own, well, to get taken home to,
Right,
because she
'cause
gets picked up by the cops.
Right, and they take her thumbprint, and they're like, "Oh shit, she looks."
And they're
really
like,
good
she's
for
47.
She could look 47.
And now, mind you, the modern Jennifer looked fine for 47.
Yeah.
It was Marty who they made look kind of extra old.
right? He looked
And she overhears while she's in the house about how Marty fucked up his whole life about
the
being
car
called
accident,
Chicken.
yes.
And that
That's-
did
I
not
feel-
come
yeah,
up
that-
in the
no, it
first
didn't.
movie.
It didn't.
Nobody calls him Chicken. That's not a part of the first
The
movie.
only thing that was not that, but it was like that fear of rejection, like between him and his father. That was the only time that came up, and
So
there was no
the being called chicken thing must have come up from how everything changed when he changed the future from being in the past before.
Maybe that could be it too.
And then he fucks up his whole future,
right?
Because of anytime somebody calls him chicken, he can't turn it down.
He can't turn down a challenge.
So he gets in a car wreck because of it. He gets fired because of it. Because
his boss calls is fucking needles.
And Flea calls all like, "Come on, man, just give me your card, man."
He Carls him.
Yeah.
He Carls
straight
him.
up, and then the boss calls,
fires
like,
him immediately.
You're fired.
Right,
watching
and
that
he gets
call.
a fax, which also faxes. That's another strike. Faxes by 2015.
It looked way
to
better
your
than
house.
that.
A fax to your house.
Oh, and you didn't get faxes to your house, but it also wasn't like dot matrix printed in 2015. And all those TVs were the wrong shape. They were all like long ways, and I'm like tall ways. I'm like, no,
they go
TVs
long ways.
don't go that way.
TVs don't go that way.
And the invigorator for the Pizza Hut, and,
Yes.
and the daughter when she first shows up with that little pizza, who's gonna eat all that? There's like 6 of you. You all got a slice and a half.
I know.
And like the poor people even have fresh fruit that comes down from the ceiling growing on a vine. And they're like in the ghetto, supposedly.
Why not?
Come on.
See,
now.
we managed that at least.
We don't. We still don't got that in 2025.
No.
We don't got grapes dropping down from the ceiling.
Liana might.
She might. Yeah.
You never know.
She has a green thumb.
But yeah, so then he gets a hold of that almanac.
Right.
And then
He's
Buff,
like, ooh.
old man Buff.
Biff.
Old man Biff hears this whole conversation that they have about
like,
the time machine and the almanac. And he's
I'm
like,
gonna get in there and I'm going to take this back to me.
And now I'm a little it does and doesn't make sense that he just took it and brought it exactly back to where he got it from, the time machine.
Right.
Because why not keep it now? Like,
I know. Then you
fuck
could just,
them.
well, now
you got the time machine now. But I guess he's just trying to fix his
He's just trying to fix his
life.
Situation. So whatever. That's all I need
He
to do.
didn't care
Once
about
I
time
do that,
travel.
I'll be fine.
Yeah. So he steals the car. He goes back, gives young Biff the almanac, explains to him how to use it. So now they have to go. They go back to 1985. And 1985 is like, whoa,
fucked. Yeah, like his mom is with Biff now.
Yes.
In Biff Towers.
She got fake titties.
Oh my God.
Her face looks 60
I
and
know.
her titties are 25.
We'll see, and that's another that's another place they fucked up, because if that was 2015, she'd have that
right. She would have had the
face.
big fat lips.
She would have
and
that,
the cheekbones.
Yes, and the filler and the whatnot.
They did it to.
She'd have like the wet wave hair that she would
have
like a real
like
housewife.
The Michael Jackson that was on the cafe. The how they had the whatchamacallit?
The Max Headroom.
Max
one,
Headroom,
yes.
but it was like Michael Jackson.
The waiter thing.
She would have looked like that.
Why did he not say, "Do you want a Pepsi?"
Right? What a missed opportunity.
It was right there.
Pepsi, perfect.
He was doing a stutter and everything.
I know. So yeah, so his mom's a big old hoe. Not even.
Not really.
She's just been married to Biff because his dad is dead, and he's like, "What the fuck? What do you mean my dad is dead?"
And then he finds out that Biff killed his dad.
Yeah, and he's gonna kill him with the same gun
because he was told by himself that someday if a kid or an old
crazy old scientist
guy comes and asks you about this, you need to get rid of him. I never thought it would be you.
Because he's his stepdad now. Biff's his stepdad in the future.
He never thought it was going to be him.
You met Marty also in the 50s.
Oh, yes.
None of this is ringing a bell.
Hold on. So that one night in the 50s that
the crazy old white-haired scientist that's local that everyone knows
everybody
that's in the
knows
paper.
that guy. Everybody knows Doc Brown.
But then again, Biff's dumb.
That's also true. Make like a tree and get out of here. Well, that's what he's
like.
saying.
Here and the old one. You sound like an idiot when you say it wrong.
I mean, even at least he knows. At least he knows.
So yeah, everything's fucked up in 1985. So now they got to go back again to 1955
back to the same spot and place
because he gave it to him the day after, or the day of the day
prom.
Marty left.
Yes.
Yeah. And so he goes back and he's trying to intercept. And I'm sorry, the cartoonishness of these escapades of Marty in the backseat of the car 2 feet away on the walkie-talkie while he's driving. Shh, Doc!
Doc! Hey!
I'm in the back seat of the car, 2 feet away.
I can
yelling.
see the almanac. It's there on the hood of the car, the dashboard of the car.
And when he breaks into Strickland's office after he takes it, and while Strickland, not like let's wait for Strickland to leave the office. I see it there on the table. No, while he's at the desk, I'm gonna crawl in and move shit just because he's looking to the side. I'm just like move stuff away and just reach out for that almanac.
Poltergeist.
What the fuck? You're not invisible. This isn't like the ghosts of Christmas past came.
I know.
And like you're getting to correct things.
You're just time traveling. You're not like
You're
invisible
still here.
time traveling.
You're still
They can still see you. I know you have on a disguise.
Right.
I know you have on a hat and sunglasses. But it doesn't matter.
Well, and at least 30 minutes of the footage in Back to the Future 2 is Back to the Future.
Yeah.
It's just
it's like the things that are happening.
Playing the footage but adding
filmed,
Michael J. Fox in a leather jacket and a hat.
Right. Were these filmed
concurrently
or one right after the other?
They came out like
whatever
4 years apart. I think the second one came out in 1989. So I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't know though. Because I thought about that watching it. About shit, do I need to go back and turn on the first one and see if you can see a dude in a leather jacket
that
and a hat in the background? But I don't think so. I don't think he's there.
I mean, I know I'm pretty sure it was a planned trilogy.
Yeah, because it says to be continued. At
Right.
Yeah,
but
it took 2 years for them to build all the sets and stuff, so they
Okay.
didn't
Oh,
start
because of
filming
the
until
future
February '89.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
So yeah, they get the almanac back. He finally destroys it. He burns it. And part of me thought, did he maybe keep a?
I know. I was like, all you would need to do is look. You need to
just
keep a page.
just look, memorize
just
a couple games.
A couple games or just one.
Hey, Tessa,
just one fucking
big
big one.
Super Bowl
what was that address that he had to memorize that he didn't?
1640 Riverside.
Hey!
She still remembers.
I'm gonna make it.
So,
I
yeah.
know. See, I would have been.
You got the vest and everything. You're
Right, I
set.
got my little vest. I'm ready for time travel. When I get out of here and I hit 88 miles per hour, I'm gonna see some serious shit.
And he knows they got it all right because his matchbook that said Biff's Casino or whatever
now
turns back into auto
detailing.
detailing. But then something
It's
goes
all too
wrong.
real.
He goes to send him back, and Doc he can't land the
no,
DeLorean.
and it's like a
like all windy.
storm.
And I don't know. You don't need a landing strip to land the DeLorean.
No,
so I'm
you
not
could
really
just-
sure why he didn't just set
Right,
down.
he
But
could just
okay.
set it down. But anyhow, so now it gets struck by lightning. He tells him, "Careful, Doc. You don't want to get struck by lightning."
Oh, and he's gone.
He got struck by lightning.
And before he can even hardly panic, here comes a car.
Oh, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
With what's
It's
his name?
raining.
Joe Flaherty or
Oh
whatever?
yeah, that guy. And he was like, "Are you Marty?"
Marty McFly?
And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I got a letter for you."
Wells Fargo or whatever.
Or
What is
yeah,
it?
like a telegram.
Yeah.
Candygram.
And we've had this letter in our office since
70 years.
Yeah.
And actually, we were taking bets. Nobody thought anybody was going to be here tonight. But I have to this note to be delivered on this night to somebody fitting your description at this exact time.
So why don't you take this delicate parchment on
Yes.
70-year-old paper
That's
open
written
it in the
in the
pouring rain?
I had that same thought. I was like, what are you doing?
He's holding an umbrella or he has a car. Can
I
you
know,
like the guy wants to know what's in the letter
He
as much
wants
as
to-
you do.
right.
He'll let you in his car or under his
He's
umbrella
like,
to
man,
read
we've
it.
been like had this for 70 fucking years. I want to know how this shit turns out.
So
and he
he's just-
seems underwhelmed.
Right? That it's
He
from
seems really
a dude who time
underwhelmed.
traveled
He's
and
like,
got
it's
stuck.
from the doc. He's like, you know,
He's like, I don't know who the fucking doc is.
who the fuck is the doc? You've ruined that document is what you've done.
That was historical. That should have been
Right?
preserved.
You could have put it in the museum.
And Doc is in 1885, and he loves it.
He's been there for 8 months.
Do not come for me.
Do not-
Move on with your life.
Check your lipstick before you come for me.
Do not come for me. Move on.
Do not.
I buried all the shit that you need. The 1955 Doc will be able to help you put the DeLorean back
Right?
together.
So there's only one man that can help me now.
But he comes across in the cemetery Doc
shit.
Brown's headstone
And
from
it's-
dated a week after that letter was
He's
dated.
like, oh fuck, he was having such a good time. Well, now
I gotta go back in time.
Back fucking time.
And what does he do? He leaves Jennifer
Yes, again.
on the fucking
She is
doorstep
still
still.
on the
She's
porch.
still sleeping on a porch bench. Maybe. Who knows?
I know.
'Cause we
she
don't
might
know
be
what
there
happened
with, like,
now.
there's shit's been shifting. Because the
And
last
it wasn't
time-
her house when he left her there if his house wasn't his house.
That's also true.
She was just
So
on
there's
some
bars
random-
on the window. They're all looking out there like, who
She
the
was
fuck
just
is
on some
this?
random people's porch. And he
Who is
left her
this
there while he
crackheaded
goes back
bitch?
to 1885.
Right. He's like, oh, fuck it. It'll be
And she
fine.
has to have woken up like at some point and just everything's strange around her. She's
Right?
like, what's happening?
She's like, I'm going back to sleep.
And like, I
Going back
guarantee she ain't marrying Marty anymore.
No, well, now definitely not with this.
So it did concern the future of their
shenanigans,
kids.
right?
Right?
But there's
She's
now
like-
there's not going to be any.
She's like, I'm sorry, you didn't hear all the shit I heard in that future house about what a
I
piece
know.
of shit fuck up you are
I
and
know.
how you
and
could
our
not.
kids are fucked up.
Yeah.
And I worked really hard to be in labor to give birth to 2 of you.
And you know what? Doc never really did explain in Back to the Future too why him going to jail for this like gang
Like ruins anything.
robbery ruins his life was already ruined.
Yeah, because
He
of
already
his-
fucked up because of him.
Why wouldn't
doing
he
the
tell
chicken
him
thing.
about
Yes.
that and just fixing it to begin with?
It makes no sense.
No, it
Makes no
really
sense.
doesn't. It really doesn't. And because of that, Biff gets in on all the bullshit.
Yeah.
Because he decided to come in fuck with the future.
So Doc gets Marty to go back to the 1885
Yes.
with this. I'm sorry, in 1955, where did he find this cowboy outfit?
I don't know.
and
Well,
did it not have
cowboys were-
like molecules?
That's
on
what
the
it looked
co-
like.
Cowboy thing?
Yeah, that looked like nuclear.
You found a pink and blue tasseled
Yes.
molecule
Where are they?
monogrammed.
It said Hill Valley, California, but like
Even in
It looks
California
like-
in 1955. Where
it
did you
looked
get
like they
this?
were in Arizona.
Kind of.
But
And
yeah,
he had like
like
pink pants and pink
Yes,
boots
it
or
was
red.
Like you got that was a big thing in the 50s, was it not? Like nuclear.
Yeah.
Oh
whatever.
yeah, I guess.
Especially out there on the
Yeah,
desert.
like out in the desert.
But yeah, so he gets
So
in this
maybe-
fancy cowboy getup, and
Right.
he's like, Clint Eastwood
Even with
never
the
wore anything
boots.
like this, and he's like, who's Clint Eastwood?
Right. Who the fuck is that? So yeah. And when he goes back in time, he's like, who fucking dressed you? He's like, you did.
And where he meets his family, why for some reason his great great grandma looks just like his mom,
I
even though
know.
it's
Oh,
his
no.
dad's side of the family.
The McFlys have a type, is what I'm saying.
So yeah, I don't know whether his mom is a distant cousin
Mm-hmm.
or what the deal is, but of course all the McFlys except for the mom look like Marty.
Right. And they have given
But
birth
Irish.
to his well, yes, he's the first, his great grandfather, which is their baby, the first McFly born in America.
And now you said so. Now I didn't finish watching this one. I've seen it several times,
Yeah.
but all I remember about this one is it's a western and Mary Steenburgen is in it. We love Mary
Steenburgen.
Steenburgen.
Oh, I love it. And I don't know with all 3 of these movies, I've seen them so many times, but I've found myself getting nervous, like, oh, I hope they make it.
I don't
especially-
know. It's 1885.
Especially in the 3rd one, because I'm sure you remember, like they hook the DeLorean up to the
Right.
train, and then Mary Steenburgen, like they save her from going over the cliff,
right.
and now it's no longer called Clayton Ravine because now she no longer was the school teacher that went over the
Right.
cliff, and also ZZ Top is in it,
And Biff with a mustache.
and Biff with a mustache. He's Buford.
Buford
Whatever. Like
Tannen.
these families are destined through time to interact with each other.
I
But yeah,
guess.
so like the whole train thing at the end, they hook up the thing to the train because he's got special. He's a blacksmith. Doc Brown is, by the
Yes.
way, there. So he's got special little burning logs
that get
that
super
burn
hot or
hotter and
something,
hotter
yeah.
to get the train to go faster and faster. And then Clara shows up and gets on this. Like, does this not look like a situation that's happening that maybe you shouldn't climb onto this train?
Nope.
I mean, good for
gotta
you.
know what's
She's
happening.
going to follow that man that she loves.
And then now, how does the 3rd one end? Did they bring her back to the future with
No.
them?
He, Marty gets in the thing. She meets them on the train. Doc is going to go back to the future back to the future with Marty. But she's on there and she was going to fall off of the train. So Marty sends the hoverboard back and Doc
yes,
and she get
okay,
off of there with the
okay.
hoverboard. He goes back alone.
Okay.
And
Doc
he comes
stays.
back on the track. The train hits the DeLorean. He's like, well, Doc, you got what you wanted. It's demolished. Like, I'll
Right.
miss you.
Right.
He's just going to live in the Old West now, I guess. So he goes and picks up Jennifer, who's still on the fucking
still
porch.
on the fucking
she sure
porch.
is.
3 years later.
She is still on the porch. He finally goes back to pick her up. And she's like, so I had this dream about
you leaving me on a porch for 3
about
years?
yeah, for 3 years that I've been on this ever-changing porch as the timeline shifts around me.
Right?
I've been trying to sleep through that. So he takes her to where the DeLorean is and he tells her, okay, look, this is what we've been up to.
Okay.
And as they're waiting there, the train things come down and they're like, there's no train. And pow, 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 pow! Doc and Clara show up in a time-traveling steam train.
Yes, I do remember the time traveling
With their
steam
boys,
train.
Jules and Vern.
He loves naming things after a scientist, don't he?
Yes, because back then in the 50s, his dog's name was Copernicus before Einstein. And there's also that when they show the kids, when he's talking about the time travel, the poor little kid in the back, the blonde one, my son pointed this out to me. He has to pee and he's trying to signal to like.
I think I saw something about that he's like pointing at his wiener
like,
the whole time.
He's like, and his little face, he's like,
Oh no.
as Doc's trying to relay this message because Jennifer is like, I have this thing from the future, but it erased. And he's like, great. That means nothing's written. Everything's cool. You guys have your own future. We're going to go fuck off and time travel and go see.
After he just wanted nothing but to demolish the DeLorean because
he
he was going
went
to fuck
back
everything
and
up.
made.
He's
He
just gonna be
probably reverse engineered the hovercraft somehow because that was left back in 1885 because that's how they got off of the train.
They're now the time traveling Partridge Family.
Yes, they are indeed on a steam train that time travels, and he doesn't want to go to the future. He's been there. So they're going back to the past.
So he can fuck everything.
So he can fuck everything.
Because you can't really
up.
fuck up by doing stuff in the future because you can still fix
Right,
that
because you
shit.
could fix that still. But no, he wants to go back to the past and fuck more things up.
Oh, Doc.
And I guess Christopher Lloyd always kind of wanted to do one more where they went back to like ancient Rome so they could really fuck some shit up.
I was going to say.
Really.
That's,
Like there was probably a McFly in Rome. There was probably like another
And a
Lorraine
Tannen.
and a Tannen. There had to be
For sure.
a Bifficus or whatever they fucking.
Bifficus. Yes, there would have been. So we actually have some messages this week.
Yes, we do.
We have a written message and we have a voicemail. And this one came from our good friend, our missing Doom
link
team member, Corey. You may have heard us, probably more if you're a patron, you may have heard us talk about our missing Doom Generation member, Corey. And she sent this message. An honest review from a longtime listener, first-time caller. I am personally doomed by Tessa and Nicole. They have gotten me incredibly drunk while playing 90s Disney board games and made me laugh until my belly hurts while feeding me wine. Those assholes. But after years of spending Thursday nights with you two weirdos, I find solace in knowing that I'm not the only one to enjoy your incredible banter and chemistry and knowing exactly how hammered Tessa was during the Twister episode. From covering my favorite 90s movie Tank Girl to understanding my weird Ninja Turtle Casey Jones crush, every episode has been on point with the best chemistry I've ever experienced in a podcast. Thanks for everything. And then I said, thank you, we miss you. And she said, shit, let me write a more doomy review. I'm having a hard time of thinking of how you doomed me. I was doomed to begin with. And I said, girl, we don't have to have doomed you. You just are, we're also doomed while we were doomed.
You are also doomed at the same time that we are doomed.
But yes, but you will hopefully be hearing from Corey this year. She is coming back from, well, not permanently, but she's going to grace us with her presence from her long sabbatical in Thailand.
Her long sabbatical? You mean her life?
Her life. Went from being a sabbatical to being her life.
To being her life,
in Thailand. And she is going to show up for an episode, hopefully in, what did I say? She said April, May, March, April, something like that.
Sometime. But
so
we want to get her.
You'll
maybe get to meet her.
Corey. And then we have a voicemail from the Back Look Cinema podcast. Here we go.
Hello, Doom ladies. This is Zoe from Back Look Cinema podcast. And I'm calling because I just wanted to let you know that I loved your episode on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was one of my favorite movies growing up. I remember taking my brothers to see that movie back in the 90s. We had a blast. And I did an episode on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a few months ago. And in all of my research that I did when I was working on that episode, what I had not uncovered was that Casey Jones made the panties drop. I was totally oblivious to the whack power of Casey Jones. So thank you for that tidbit of information. That's neat to know. I gotta figure out what Casey Jones was doing in order to elicit that response from the ladies. That I could use that information. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for your message. And to answer your question, you know what? He was bringing some gray sweatpants and a bad attitude. That is all it took.
Gray sweatpants, a cricket bat in his pants, and out.
Like bad attitude, but charming.
Right.
Like good heart, bad attitude.
Yes.
You gotta have, you don't need to be a bad boy.
No.
Like, we don't want you to do bad things to us, but we want you to act like you could.
I want to live in
it.
fear.
Don't do it.
Of what you may do to me.
But just let us be aware you're capable.
But I know you're full of shit.
You're not going to do it to me.
Right.
But you could do it to somebody.
See, well, that's what happened. That's where Marty fucked up. Mm-hmm. That's where Marty fucked up because he was too busy being a tough guy and getting his mom all riled up.
See, don't do that.
Speaking of a connection of the gray sweatpants, Elias Codius is in Some Kind of Wonderful.
Oh, that's right.
With Lea Thompson and Eric Stoltz.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
If you want to see more hot,
he's
Elias
hot.
Codius.
Yes, he's hot and Some Kind of Wonderful.
He's
bald
a hot,
as
tough guy.
hell.
I know.
So you don't even
And
need the long
still,
greasy hair.
No.
Be bald as a
He's
cue
bald
ball and
now
hot
and
as
he looks
hell.
good.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So yeah, we did. That was. Thank you for the messages. If you guys want to leave a voicemail, it's 702-720-DOOM. You can text us. You can call us. You can email doomgenerationpodcast@gmail.com. We are doing This Month in Doom episodes once a month on our Patreon. So if you want to hear what the Doom Dames are watching now, join our Patreon, patreon.com/doomgeneration. And until next week,
we'll talk at you next time. Later, Doomers.